All right. So this is the Calpheon Ball 2022 podcast. And we're just going to be talking about the Calpheon Ball through and through. And I guess first, let's start off with introductions. Divios, if you could please introduce yourself for those who may not have ever heard of you, even though that'd be weird if they hadn't.
Yo, my name's Divios. I'm a loser that plays striker and sage, and I like I like tournaments. I don't know.
Oh, and if you could also add the most asked question I've gotten since I've been back. How tall are you, Divios?
Like 6'7".
That's all anyone cares about is how tall everyone is. It's so crazy. Strat, who are you? What's going on?
Greetings. I'm a former YouTube enjoyer, making YouTube videos, but I stream now. Hello. Play Nova, like a very weak class like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
You don't make YouTube videos anymore?
I'm gonna get back into it. I haven't had any passion for it, but I got some good ideas recently.
Okay.
Yeah, but how tall are you?
Yeah, how tall are you?
Dude, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I went into this feeling like I was gonna be so tall because everyone in family is like 5'5", like on a good day.
True.
So when I got there, I was like, I'm gonna be a giant. I'm only 6'1", and then Divios like actually is like 6 heads above me, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. You're only as tall as your personality is big, you know?
Yeah. Well,
dude, I'm the shortest one here. So, and I thought I was just like average height, which I thought would be above average for BDO gamers, but I am way, way below.
There's a lot of real tall ones.
There really is. All right, Vert, give your introduction and how tall you are.
Yo, what's up? I'm Vert. I've been streaming video a long time, and I've been in Ash Forest even longer, and I'm 6 feet tall.
Hey.
Hello.
Isn't that crazy that that's tiny by today's standards in BDO?
Dude, I don't know what they're feeding people nowadays because BDO community is just huge.
A little Bill Diff, honestly.
It's like they're all NBA players, but instead they chose MMOs.
Dude, I was asked a lot how tall individual people were, but for whatever reason with Norelio, no one asked me like, oh, how tall is he? They say, is he 5'4"? And I'm like, what?
It's so specific. Oh my God.
It is. It's so
Yeah, this
specific.
morning they said, is Norello really 5'2"?
Yeah, like, where is that coming from? Does he have some reputation for being short? I don't understand where that's coming from. So random. All right, so just to kind of start things off, the Calpheon Ball, the partners were all invited to go out to Long Beach, California. Delph, I see you in chat. That was Long Beach, not Los Angeles. So we're all in Long Beach, California. Beautiful Long Beach. And we got to go into the venue. We got to stay in a hotel for a couple of nights. It was really cool, too, because for anyone who's gone to events before, usually you're kind of jam-packed on the schedule, and this time it was basically the Calpheon Ball is Saturday from 3 to 6. There's an after party from 6 to 9, and then the rest of the weekend you're just completely free to do whatever. So Divios didn't have his curfew this time.
True.
Which was really cool, even though his flight was still super early, and he got in a lot later than a lot of people. But so I wanted to ask Divios, starting with you, kind of how was the weekend for you, just as like going in person, hanging out with people? Do you have any cool stories from the Calpheon Ball?
I still think my favorite one is the. Basically, it was actually right after the Calpheon Ball when we were gonna go back to the hotel and like meet up, but it was me, Norelio, Block Jump, and Lefonda, and we get to like the little parking lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lefonda is like, it's all right, we're on the 3rd story, and Norelio looks up, he's like, bro, I ain't walking up all that, man. Can you bring the car around? And then we're like, oh, whatever, we'll just stay with Norelio then, right? So we go stay in Norelio, and then we're sitting there, and we're kind of chilling, just talking for a little bit, and the time's going like, yeah, he's taking a long time to get out of here, huh? That's kind of weird. And then like a couple more minutes goes by, and then a car that looks pretty near to the car Lefonda had It just rolls up right beside us and stops. And then and so the block jump's like, all right, he's like immediately just opens the door and goes get in, and it is not that. It is not Lefonta's car.
No way. What?
And it's because as he rolled up, like it looked like the front of his car got all like smashed up. Like, oh shit, is that why he took so long? He's like looking at the front of the car because the front of the car was like smashed up. Like, oh fuck.
Oh my god, dude.
But yeah, Blackjump just opens the door. He's like, "Oh, that is not Lefonta."
That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
How did you enjoy the rest of the events? Like the, I don't know, the party, the after party, and the.
It was a really good time. The whole weekend. But yeah, it was the first time I've gone to like an event like that and not just been like already like super time constrained.
Was that your first time at an Irish pub?
Yeah.
All right. See? Strikers can be social too. Strat, what about you, man? How was your weekend?
It was really fun, man. The guild family recruiting. Also had a thing going on Friday. So we like went over to someone's house, made some food, hung out, got to meet everyone in person, which was really fun. That was probably the highlight of the trip, getting to see Skeptic in person because I've been friends with him for a long time. But that night was so much fun just as a whole.
Yeah.
Skeptic had a blast.
Yeah, he did. He did. I wasn't even there, and I found out he did, and then saw later that he did.
Yeah. It was really fun though.
Yeah, apparently.
So you didn't go to TwitchCon then, Strat?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
No, he didn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we found out Lunarlay is a fantastic cook.
Very good.
Oh, yeah,
Very good cook, actually.
Yeah, they literally posts in Cho Discord all the time, all the food he makes. It's crazy.
Did you have a favorite moment, Strat, or something that stood out? Did you get in the wrong car?
Unfortunately, no. I think my favorite moment was just like when everybody finally got together at that house, and then it just turned into a fucking party because it's pretty low key up until that point. And Skeptic rolls in, he's got like these 2 bottles of like pre-mixed like tequila drink or whatever, and he's like, "I love family," and he's like, yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah. All right, Vert. What about you, man? How was the Calpheon Ball?
Calpheon Ball was sick. It was really cool to finally put, like a face to a lot of the creators that might not use like a cam otherwise, and just like finally getting to meet a lot of people in person. Because like I did the casting thing, so I got to meet like the PA team and I got to meet Armin, but like that's it because I didn't go to TwitchCon, so it was a lot of fun. And then of course the Irish pub was a blast, and
oh yeah,
the random drunk guy coming up, Steve's uncle.
Yeah,
just showing up in the middle of everyone. That was a good time.
Yeah,
I don't know. Got to explore Long Beach with my girlfriend too. So
yeah,
all in all, solid weekend.
Yeah, there were a couple times random older dudes just came up and thought they were part of the party.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, that's cool.
That it was the dinner at that ramen place was really funny. Like, dude, Steve was losing it. It was so good.
Yeah,
Steve is fucking hilarious, bro.
No, because
his laugh is so contagious, dude. It's crazy.
Because I think because originally we were supposed to have like 14 or 12 or something at the dinner or whatever. So they had it, and it's just like every time like another group would finish like eating, they literally just like add another table to ours because we ended up getting up to like 25 people or something at the end.
Yeah,
just having the whole restaurant.
It was pretty good there too. That food was pretty good.
Mm.
I don't know how to use chopsticks well, so I'm sitting there trying to eat soup with chopsticks and just feeling really bad about myself. I'm like looking around. I'm like, how is everyone good at this? I'm the only one that still has soup in the bowl and everyone else is done. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. This is awful. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was crazy. Like the hotels were nice, the area was cool, everything was really close together. Even though we had a few of the partners that were at different hotels, everyone was still close enough to just kind of walk, or in Block Jump's case, take a Segway. But it was super cool, and just like, I don't know, kind of mind blowing, I guess, for a video game company to invite people out and do that. I thought the whole thing was pretty nuts. But one of the things that stood out to me, we were hanging out with Choice, and it was like Choice, Spaghetti, Block Jump, Yo Fam, Steve, Fake Uniform. We were in the lobby of the Regency, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity. And I was like reading my card. It was my turn, and I'm reading my card, and I get just like a fucked up card, right? And it was like, I can't even remember what the premise was, but then my card that I had to read, and I said it all out because I'm like hyper. I don't know. You probably know that now. I get super hyper around everyone, so I'm like all loud. I read my card, and it's literally it's like yummy yams pussy or something like that. And all of a sudden, everyone's face just sinks. And I'm like, what? And I turn around, and there's a mom behind me. And I yelled this shit super loud. There's a mom behind me with 2 little kids that are like 6 years old in Christmas pajamas.
Jesus.
And she's like, oh yeah, yummy rat pussy. That's what it was. And she's like pulling them away. And I look at her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were there.
Oh my
It was so awkward. I was like, oh, this can't be happening. Why would no one warn me ahead of time? Oh my fucking God, dude.
That's a questionable game to play in the lobby of a hotel.
It is.
That's super bold. That's
While
bold.
stone sober, by the way. We hadn't like that was when we first got there. It was, that's how Choice does. That's how Canada does things. They're different up there.
It's a good icebreaker.
It was. Everyone was real comfortable after that. Yeah, for sure.
Jesus.
But yeah, it was really, really cool. And the venue was awesome. The line waiting kind of sucked. Delph, pro tip in the future, partners get in the back, But but the venue was awesome, and it was kind of cool to like walk down Long Beach. I walked with Biohack, and it was like me, Hunter, Biohack, and his wife, and we walked down. It was just like crazy to see this building with like Black Desert, on the marquee,
That was
and
so
giant
cool, man.
poster with a big old line outside. It's like a band is playing or something there later. It was kind of crazy to see. But
When me and Divios were standing in line, there were some people who were not attending the event, but apparently like definitely played Black Desert, and they were like, "Go for spot!" It's pretty funny.
That's funny. So we get into the event. The thing starts out, and we all get in our assigned seats, and I had a replica of Vert in front of me, so he didn't get a seat with the partners.
Yeah, that was.
There's like a fake Vert in the partner seats, and then Vert was like, "There's no seats for me," and I was like, "Uh-oh, that's weird." But we get in, and then the Calpheon Ball happened, and they announced a bunch of stuff, and I think that's the kind of the meat and the potatoes of this podcast. I want to talk about this, and I want to go. I was inspired by your stream today, Vert, how you said they kind of started out this big stuff, and then it tapered off.
Yeah.
Into the Q&A, so I wanted to kind of go reverse. We're not going to touch on every little thing, but we're going to go in reverse order and talk about some of the smaller stuff, and then we'll end big. So
I like that.
The first thing I want to talk about is the DP efficiency, because they mentioned it for a second and then didn't really say a whole lot, but essentially the questions that were on the board that they showed were a Korean player saying that they're just getting one shot by everything, and then another player, I forget what region the other one was, but
NA.
Was it NA? Saying that basically AP is more efficient than DP, and are they ever going to do something about it because damage is too high? And all they really said was that they acknowledged that offense is better than defense, and said they're going to take a slow approach by adding new items over time rather than doing a big sweeping rework. And kind of their basis for their argument of not doing anything like major is that it'll increase the gap between lower geared players and higher geared players, and they want to avoid that. And then they kind of slowly, or they added in quietly at the end, and also through class balancing. So I'm kind of curious, starting with you, Divios. Are you happy with the response? Are you happy they addressed it, or mad with the response? What was your feeling on the DP efficiency part?
I mean, I definitely agree with them. Where it's I mean, the tankier people are, the more the gear matters, right?
Mhm.
That's how it always was, right? You don't if you make everyone tankier, just if you're more geared, because generally the difference between people at like 700 or 690 and like 720, most of that difference is usually DP.
Yeah.
So I
Do
mean,
you
they're
believe
definitely
them?
right.
Do you believe that they're gonna add stuff to fix that?
I think they'll add stuff. I just don't think it will actually change much.
Yeah. Vert, what about you?
I was really hoping they were bringing back the renown system, but since that fell through,
Like a different form of it, or an exact replica?
no, I'm just memeing. I mean, kind of like Divios said, like we've seen the attempts with like just the Alkstone cups for now, but it's not enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's DP that needs to be like increased as much as just like maybe damage options and just damage in the game needs to be lowered a bit. Because I think it's crazy how much like extra damage you can get between your crystals, the accessories, the artifacts, just add on like you just keep stacking damage on damage on damage.
I think that it's not just damage itself. It's like the way things are doing damage.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's either it's from range, it's like one frame, it's really fast, and it's like
Yeah.
Massive AoE, no
It's a
split damage.
It's a pen win kick cancel fucking air attack with like 1500 times 6 with -20 in PvP. That's the reason
like it's
why people do damage.
Yeah, it's not necessarily there. Just like the way it's applied is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also tough because if you just make everyone tankier, you have to change class mods, right? Because there's just some classes that would become insane. Like this is like an example, like the assassins mods against a Nova, it's like -12% damage or something. So I don't know. Yeah. Do you agree there is a problem, Vert? Like with the damage? In the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like I took a break and I came back and there was just no neutral game in BDO anymore. It's like one or two skills and that's it. That's the fight.
Yeah. Strat, same question to you.
Yeah, I mean, that answer I think was actually pretty intelligent because if they just change the way DP works fundamentally, people with a ton of gear, like the really really tanky classes with a ton of gear, would be actually unkillable. And right now, I think the gear gap is actually doesn't mean anything almost. Like somebody who's like 685 on a good class can actually kill somebody who's capped gear if they play a good class and have a correct build and stuff. And I think people being gear carried is something that really pushed people away from the game as a whole. Like when I first started playing, I know that was a big topic of discussion. Obviously, I think damage right now is way too high. And particularly for me, it's just the fact that range damage is so high. So, leaning into that last portion of their little statement there about class balance, I think that could be a good solution. Just focusing a little bit on that in that regard. But honestly, I was really happy with that answer, honestly, because I do not want a game where like people who are cap gear are just running over everybody like how it used to be with the renown system. Because that'd be no fun for all the new players and pretty much undo all the work they've done to try to make this game new player friendly, like with seasons and all the event stuff like pen accessory quests. So
completely agree.
Yeah.
So if they add some sort of offense, like an AP accessory or something in the new region, then are they just liars?
That's definitely not the play. That should not be the play for sure.
They had Debo ring or something.
Yeah, full Debo set.
But yeah, like it's really at the end of the day, it's honestly just comes down to like crystal optimization, right? Like really crystals are the big differentiator between like high damage builds and low damage builds. Like if you put in Hooms or whatever, like you lose so much damage compared to somebody's full human damage. It's actually crazy because full human damage is just insane. And then You just tack that onto a class that's also ranged and can hit people from across the map, and then you just have like a really unfun game loop. It's just horrific. So, especially if you play melee, it's just not fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping they do those slight adjustments, and I think these little add-ons to the Vel and the Alkstone is actually a pretty intelligent way to start it off, honestly.
Right. All right, I'm gonna use that as a segue. I couldn't decide if we should talk Solare or crystals, but since you mentioned the crystals, they announced the new crystal presets. The interface that they showed, it looks like you're gonna have 5 completely separate presets. They're gonna come to Black Desert Labs this Thursday, or I guess Friday morning. It says, once they're applied, crystals which were traditionally equipped into weapon and armor slots will now be equipped directly into a new dedicated UI, removing the equipment constraints of crystals. Additionally, there are additional locked crystal slots as seen in the UI above that'll become available later with the Land of Morning Light. And then they had one demo crystal that they show above that, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about just the part that kind of affects us today. So they didn't detail exactly what the limitations are, but in all of their screenshots, they still show weapon and boot and glove icons. So my theory is, and Divios and I were just drinking wine and talking about this on a comfortable sofa on the second floor of that building. And I think that what's going to happen is it's going to still be separated by parts. Like you're going to be limited in like 2 glove slots could go in this interface, 2 weapon slots could go in this interface. It just doesn't matter really where they are anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But we don't know because theoretically, like Divios, you were saying, you know, are you going to be able to run a bunch of? You have a cool evasion setup. You wanna enlighten us on your cool evasion setup, Divios?
Yeah, you could either run basically 100% spec evade, or you could run like 150 bonus evasion technically if you just stacked all of the ones like that.
Yeah, if it was like Jin, you could put Bon or Juan.
Yeah, like it's like and like yeah, because it also like there's different levels to it too. Because I'd assume right that for most crystals you wouldn't be able to do like the ones that feed into that one, right? So like I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. Like for special evasions, it makes sense you couldn't use the normal spec evasions, the Jin or the Wands or the Bonds, right? You can only use one of them, right? It makes sense. But there's one crystal in the game that does not work like that, and that is the agility crystals for the helmet. Like the Elcars work like that, Vipers work like that, all stuff like that. It's like I'd assume it'd be like, oh, it'd lock you out of something named like evasion, like special evasion, or like it would knock you out of Vipers or something like that. Like if it does change, like, there's just so many levels to the restrictions they could have.
Yeah.
Like, it could be as much as there's no restriction. You can just be running around with Jin, Wands, and Bonds. It could be like how it is now, pretty much just the same thing, except it's just you have crystal presets, which again is still a massive change. In like because you could do a lot more things with having just like being able to crystal swap whenever you want. And then it can get really crazy really fast once you start losing restrictions.
Yeah.
Just to kind of add into that too, regarding the options you have, like that's gonna make the damage problem even more intense, because if I'm fighting Divios, I'll put in I right now run RBF Vipers, but if I fight Divios, I'll just put in Jin Vipers in my little other crystal preset, and then vice versa, obviously, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if they don't have restrictions on that, like I mean, you know, certain classes will just negate all builds negate all types of builds pretty much in terms of
get out of hand.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to see. It's looking forward to when it comes out.
Yeah, I wonder, they didn't mention the restrictions on when you'll be able to swap. My guess is in a safe zone, but who knows?
I'd imagine it's pretty similar to skill preset.
For season 3, year 3 of the best in guild up, so I can swap crystals. That'd be sick.
Yeah, but in their
you just hotkey the preset.
Yeah, exactly, just on a keybind. In their 3 demo screenshots, it looks, all 3 of them look like completely normal crystal builds with 2 weapon, 2 offhand, 2 boot, 2 helmet, 4 Hooms or 4 Maclods. So I don't know. It probably will be limited by what the slot was before. But the convenience of it is so nice. Like I've been waiting for this forever.
Yeah.
And there's so many. It's not just like I mean, most people wanted it for PvE and PvP, but it's like you could have a set for 1v1, you could have a set for group PvP, you could have a set for PvE at a place like Olun Valley or Turos where you don't want to get stunned or CC'd. Yeah, Crypt. You could have another set
amazing, man.
Yeah, another set for Hex that's just pure damage with no resists. It'll be really, really cool. I can't wait. And I wonder how it's gonna work with tags though.
Yeah.
That's the thing that worries me.
I'm wondering how crystal presets. I wonder if it will be character based, and if it is, like, how is it gonna kind of like work? I guess.
Yeah, character based, and also, do I just put in one Viper? Do I have to have a Viper for each preset? Or like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or There's 3 ways you can do that, right? Either it's either gonna be like you need 2, and then with 2 you can just kind of put it in any preset you want.
Mm-hmm.
Second would be you need all of them. You need like 1 for each. So it's like if you have Jin Vipers in 3 sets, you need 6 Jin Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could just be you just need 1.
Nijil,
I think that's the least likely. But
Nijil in chat brings up a good point because he's saying, I wonder if green sub weapons will basically have 2 slots now.
That's another thing. Same. That's what Zeth was saying too. Like, green offense could have 2 slots, and my militia offhand would have 2 as well.
That's sad. You didn't.
I didn't even think about militia. That'd be big, bro.
Yeah, militia would just gain 2 slots for free.
Green and white offense buff.
The reason why I don't think that would be a thing is because of Garmoth in the Awakening weapon. Because at that point it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It'd be 3%.
Yeah, but then they'd have to. That would mean like if you have a green offhand, one of the slots would have to be grayed out.
Yeah, they have the capacity to do that. They showed that.
It would be one of the slots would be locked. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would probably make more sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we don't need to buff green offhands. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, come on, man. They're green. They're not boss offhands. How are they going to compete?
True. All right, they announced this. Oh God, Bong Wong's tier crystal. This new crystal that's going to go in one of these. Is that right? That's how it showed here.
How do you pronounce that?
I'm not saying it again, but it goes in one of the 4 locked slots at the bottom, which I assume you're gonna have to do like a quest line or something to unlock those slots. I don't know. But this is one crystal they showed, and they kind of explained it poorly at the ball. I think a lot of people were confused because I think they made it sound like you'd select one of the stats on here, but
yeah,
I think now the consensus is everyone believes you're going to get all of the stats on here, not just one.
Yeah, you're gonna get all the stats, and it's going in like an extra slot.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy. This is a lot of stats. I mean, I know it's a little bit of each stat, but it's a lot combined, and it's definitely more defensive than offensive.
Yep. That's like another one of their slow pushes too.
I'm a little curious because, like, in my head, I think it's got like drop rate increase as well as like monster stuff as well. I guess they're just trying to push like PvE even further in terms of difficulty and like, you know, how much gear you would require for PvE content just by adding in a crystal like that. Which I don't know. Like, is that a good idea? Like, I don't know. There's just so much stuff in there, and people have to continue to progress gear. But like, if the new region is just like actually undoable unless you're 700 plus, that's gonna kind of suck, right?
Well, no, because they said. I mean, we're gonna talk about the new region stuff in a second, but no, it's all right. But they did mention that there's going to be like, I don't know if it's like a slider or whatever, but maybe it'll be LV or normal. But they said there's gonna be multiple difficulties. Yeah. So you could go in there with no gear and solo and like do everything fine.
Yeah, I think they said the easiest level is like Tuvala gear.
Tuvala, yeah. So I think that'll be fine. I mean, yeah, essentially this would make all of that, I mean, all the older content a little bit easier because there's a lot. I mean, 5.
That's crazy density on stats. That's insane.
It is. It really is.
When I saw that, I was like, huh? What are we doing?
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of everything. I don't know.
I'm curious if there's going to be more than just that crystal, like if there's going to be options.
So they said that they said there's going to be different ones, but they're all just going to, it's just going to be like a weaker version for that one, at least specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they said that was going to be like the best in slot version of like the slot, a crystal that fills that slot.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 4 slots total.
I don't think you'll use all
but-
4 of those.
Yeah, I thought that when they said you get only one, I'm pretty sure they meant like if you have this crystal, you won't be able to put a copy of this crystal in the other
That's
slots.
what I thought. That's what I thought too. As
Yeah,
well.
that's kind of how I
So-
understood it.
That would make the most sense considering how much
Yeah,
stuff
and
it's got.
Yeah.
So there'll be other stuff, but the
It's
crystal
like
is
another
pretty cool.
cron meal.
It is. I wonder how you're gonna have to get it. I hope it's not tied to Node Wars.
I mean, maybe the weaker versions are just like the
No, I think it's-
weaker versions of the bosses. Maybe.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
1% drop rate from a boss. Let's go.
Oh god.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of moving on, Arena of Solare. Arena of Solare Season 2 is coming December 28th, which is awesome and exciting. And it was gone that will now be 2 months and 2 weeks. 10 weeks of no Solare whatsoever, which I still think is odd.
Mhm.
They added some new gear to Solare. And I'm actually curious your guys' opinion on this, because my initial reaction to the new gear being added is I don't really love that the items are what's going to be like a big part of Solare. I thought the whole equalize thing was supposed to kind of like move you away from items being a big part of what the fight is, but what do you guys think? Divios, I know you love gear, so what is your feeling
No,
on the new gear?
Well, I like that because I like people having like options, and I like people having like ways to fuck up their build too. But,
You're preying on their downfall. God
Uh-huh.
yeah, I love that shit.
damn.
Okay. You don't
So,
really
I
care
mean-
about the RNG of like, well, damn, like I literally
As-
just
as long
can't
as-
kill them because I didn't get a class that has huge accuracy mods.
What?
Well, for example,
you
because
talking
they're
about the
adding,
evasion rings?
yeah, they're adding an evasion ring,
Okay.
and it's not a little bit; it's 29 evasion.
Yeah.
And if you have 2 of those, I mean, I'm already missing against a warrior in there that's running full DR. So I'm just imagining how much I'm gonna miss against an evasion class that has these rings on.
Wake hash is down so bad.
The
Sorry,
problem
but-
is in that mode, as soon as you drop below 253, your damage falls off the fucking universe.
It does. but-
So it's like, yeah, they'll be able to get tanky, but they'll also like not do like anything back.
So do you think these are more for the
Especially-
shies?
Especially with
shy
those
thing?
those other new crystals.
So you don't think a striker, you Divios wouldn't run this ring if you could chill
I
around
need
like
to-
230.
I need to see where everything lies.
Do you remember how
build
much the
wise.
rings were on the last season? How much AP a ring was?
You can look. You can still look right now.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me check.
I think there's 14, right? I think those are 8 and 6.
Okay, yeah, they're 14. So it's a pretty big drop off. 8 AP per ring. But it is a lot of evasion. So maybe I guess maybe it is more for like a shy. And then the armor also is just, I didn't even compare the stats, but right now you only get like a Tet Dim Tree or a Pen Dim Tree that's Calpheon.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the Dim Tree is 88 DP. Let me see if I can compare this side to side. So this one is only 84 DP and it has less stats, but it has way more damage reduction. Like
Yeah. So pretty much everyone's just gonna use that always.
it has like 40 more damage reduction than the Tet Dim Tree that you currently get in Solare.
Yeah. So people are just gonna only use that one.
But it has way
That seems
less
a little
of-
weird
it has
when you
way
do
less
that.
evasion though.
Yeah.
Also.
That doesn't matter. From 99% of people.
I don't know how you could say that, because like most people are missing in there. It's like a big topic in Solare is like how often people miss in that game mode, even against DR. And like you don't think the evasion classes are going to still run
I'm just
evasion?
saying, I ran 0 accuracy. I only missed against other gauntlets with ebuff.
Must be nice.
I have 6%. I have a 6% buff and 10% on my skills.
All right, so striker
No
set.
debuff.
What about you, Vert? How you feeling Suckash is going to be in there? These gear changes.
Well, I mean, I plan on taking a Awaken hash
Oh,
this
okay.
season, so
Yikes.
Oh,
it's gonna
Yikes.
be even worse.
Oh, sick.
That's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
terrible.
Personally, like kind of what you're saying is I would rather it be about the player performing on their class rather than, you know, having to worry about like min-maxing my build against people that might be trying to like get cheesy wins off of their build.
Right.
Like I'd rather just fight the players in the class.
Yeah.
Because
I think in
like
the. Go ahead, Vert. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I just feel like that's the whole point of Solare is to get to a point of gear where you're not really supposed to be worrying about the gear to a certain
Right.
extent.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think gear mattered even more last season.
Well,
With the
we'll
resi-
we'll
with,
get
like-
to that in a second. Strat, what is your feeling on the crystals initially?
I
Or-
think the crystals are like the way I saw the crystals. Yeah, the fact that there are going to be situations where you kind of just like get build checked a bit, just because you just got got unlucky with your teammates having low accuracy or whatever. Like that's gonna suck. I hope that doesn't become a serious problem. But I do think that like certain classes could benefit from these other crystals. For example, like Nova, that 5% resist, and 235 stamina. Like those things are kind of juicy, and especially when you have 10 seconds of SA. So it gives you like a power spike. You can really do some cool stuff with that. And I was thinking about it, and this is something I was kind of involving Woosa, so I'll keep it pretty brief in this regard. But class has like low CC pressure,
Mhm.
and in Solare, its job is going to be just damage dump and staying alive. And I was thinking like the regen on the main hand weapons could be actually pretty interesting if you tinkered around with it, and that kind of stuff I think is pretty cool. But
I've
yeah.
already thought up a bunch of things you could do with these.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing, right? I like that stuff personally.
It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, you're talking about Strat the recovered 9 HP per attack.
Yeah, because that class has like low
could-
CC, like very low CC. Like the L cards don't matter that much, right?
Isn't there also
Theoretically,
like a 300 HP regen
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah,
Mhm.
HP recovery 300, and then you can have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you could have 2 of those, and then like Suck Zerker was already one of the most popular classes in.
And it doesn't
Solare.
reduce your DR, by the way. It only reduces your evasion. So guess what?
Yeah,
Suck-Zerker might
and
be a god.
like they already have an extra HP pot.
Guess what?
essentially.
Another class that hits a lot per their skills, like was Zerker Spin.
Yeah, well, the HP recovery is weird.
What-
It's only minus 10 evasion, minus 150 HP, but
So,
for 300 HP recovery.
So like that crystal, for example, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do this for my stage, right? If I hit one person with my shift Q,
Mm-hmm.
it heals for 500.
Right.
That's after the reduction, right? Like the healing reduction that's in Solare.
Those healing things are like weird. Like that's the thing. So like. And the thing is, I don't think that healing. Like, it's weird how it works with like. I don't think it works on passive recovery either.
Yeah, I don't know if it works on passive recovery. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely works on HP on hit though, because spin spree literally doesn't. It heals you like 90 HP
Yeah.
instead of 400.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I also don't. I'm not a fan that they didn't also add an ignore all resistance one. You know?
They added a new resistance one though.
Yeah,
Yeah. Woo!
yeah. It would have been nice to have ignore resist. I hate those like stacked resist builds, and everyone was running them. It's just kind of
Yeah, so those realistically, what I think everyone's gonna use that. Oh, it's a chest crystal though. Okay,
Yeah, the HP recovery
that
is
just changes
chest.
things. That changes things a little bit.
Yeah, because
I do think all the tankier classes are gonna run it though.
you'd
Valve,
lose 300
Zerker,
HP,
Nova.
but gain a ton of
Yeah.
recovery. It's so much recovery.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You live for like if that's not reduced, I think everyone in the game uses that.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because like
I think if that is 300 HP and it's not if that's not reduced by 70%,
Yeah.
then every single person uses those, and it's not even close. And I think even when it's reduced by 70%, I think a lot of people use them.
Yeah, it would still. I mean, you'd still recover 180 HP every 5 seconds for having 2 of those in.
Yeah.
And then if you have 2, isn't Jin Harf you have 50 each or something like that, or 10 each, or how much recovery is in Jin Harf's?
5.
Oh, 5. Is it only 5? I don't know why I thought it was higher.
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah. So, and then if you're the new class, you have another. Yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty crazy. Not a,
All I'm saying is that class, nuke the Woosa with the shift Q. You just with the HP on per attack.
Yeah.
And those, you just fucking
That's what I
waving
mean,
your
right?
fan,
Like-
just full healing. It's like
yeah, that stuff like that, like the theory craft from behind it. Like I doubt it's I thought it works out like to be super insane, but it's cool to think about, like the theory crafting at least.
I think those evasion rings are terrible for the most part. I think they'd be really good in the base game though.
For Shy though, you don't think for Shy's in there? They'd want the tankiness?
I mean, don't they already have Cadres?
I don't know.
They use Runros. They use Runros.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
it does help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely no. I mean, it's definitely better than Runros. Yeah. So I mean, it helps them. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing they said, there's going to be a new map. They haven't shown or demoed anything when it comes to that though.
Yeah.
And then they also said that they're going to add placement matches. The first few matches of a new season will be aimed at placing adventurers in the right rank, depending on how you do in these placement matches. Your starting rank will change. And then it doesn't have it here in the notes, but when we were there live, they also said that your MMR will be taken into account from previous seasons, which is basically what most games do of some sort.
Yeah.
Usually don't start completely from scratch. So your feelings on placement matches?
I mean, it's good. It gets you. I think it's just straight up just good. I don't know.
Yeah. Vert, you unhappy about placements?
No, I enjoy placements. I think it's better than just like starting at the bottom again.
Yeah, and I hope it separates like, I don't know, there is an element of being stuck for a while with people that are borderline AFK. But if you are a player that is borderline AFK and you're stuck with other people that are AFK, you get to do it together. You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just from my experience, like the preseason or whatever, I didn't play for like the first 2 weeks. And then I started playing, and it was so hard to climb. And then the next season, I started day one, and I think I was like 1,800, just instantly in it.
Yeah, I already see like the chat saying you only get stuck if you're bad. Tell that to Choice, who ended up like rank 5, but for the first 2 weeks was like, I don't know. He literally was like sad. He just had depression on his face because he like couldn't get out of 1,300 for like 90 matches in a row. Like you definitely, even if you're good, can get stuck because some players literally are not playing the game. So you could get stuck for a while. Eventually you will get out. Skill issue. Yeah, that's why he was ranked 9, because he's so bad. What were you gonna say, Divios?
I think, I mean, thing is, right? That's just something like you will climb out though. It's like if you're stuck the whole season, then it's either you aren't good enough or you hadn't played enough games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying stuck the whole season, but you have like a
you
window.
Can get stuck at points though. Yeah. But I do think, to me at least, with how my class works, it's definitely easier the later IQ.
Yeah, I felt the same. Wait, Vert, you said it was the opposite. You felt it was easier when you started with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the complete opposite experience.
I think that comes down to like actually just like grab class. Like grab classes can control fights so well over, and that's not speaking like I'm speaking a little generally here. Some classes obviously do it way better, but like if you're just full of if there's 2 mooses in the game and you don't have a grab on your team, it's kind of rough. You know what I mean? Stuff like that can happen.
Like for me, right? It's like when we start all at 1150. And it felt like I was dice rolling because it's like everyone's 1150. It's like, oh shit, I rolled 1150. That was actually 1900 player, and then I got 2 actual 1100 players. It's like, okay, I guess I just lose.
I think at least for me, like the general vibe when I started 2 weeks late, is people were already like emo, like depressed, like no one was talking. They're like, I'm gonna be stuck here forever. But when I like played AOS day 1 of the first season, like everyone, like good and bad players, like everyone was calling out, like everybody wanted to be there, they wanted to win. And so I feel like that was a big difference for me. But
because I played on my alt like probably a month and a half, 2 months in. I only played like I only played like 20 something games because I was honestly pretty bored. But the games felt so easy for me, and those like it's like there was like one game where it was kind of close, and every other game was just straight to like.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing that people, once they're depressed, if they lose one match, they just quit for the rest of the game mode. But I don't know, to the point of the whole like, oh well, it's a skill issue thing. Like if your teammate's gonna go in and suicide immediately in a round, some classes can't 1v2. It's really hard to get out. But the first day, I mean the first like week, it wasn't that I had a hard time climbing, but it was like I felt like I was like going up with the average with everyone, if that makes sense. Like as people gained points, I gained points. And then on my ult that I started like in week 3, it was like just 1800 in the first like 2 hours.
Godicus was talking about that at the Calpheon Ball actually. He had the exact same experience. Like it was grind at the start. It was really tough for him. His ult account shot up like so fast, and he was like the freest shit ever. He said so.
Yeah, like I mean, my main, I started 14 and 8 in my striker, and then the next day I went on my sage. I went 14 and 1 on my sage, the next day, and then like a day after that I went pretty good on my sage, and then I had a really bad day on Sunday because I was only fighting warriors and Drax before they had got nerfed.
Yeah.
And they were playing their last day of Solare before the nerfs went through. I went down like I was like negative like 2 or 3 games for the day, but like I was just fighting them every game, and then they announced shit. I went back to my striker and started climbing again. But it was like when on my ult, it was just like straight up like people like when you're in those low games as a striker, it's literally like every time I press spiral, at least 2 people get CC'd every time it's off cooldown. Like like they just people just they do not get hit by it. They always are getting spiraled no matter what.
That's a nice class.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a really good class. I
every 6 seconds, 2 people at the ground at that level.
I was I'm actually curious to like how separate it's gonna be. Like, let's say someone, I don't know how many matches it's gonna be. It says first few, so let's just say it's 4 or 5. Like, where is it gonna place someone that loses everything the entire way through, and then where is it gonna place people that win out? Like, how different? Because if it's like 1100 for the people that lose out, but then 1200 the people that don't, you're still basically in the same rank. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's based off your last ranking, right?
It says it's based off your last rank, so it's gonna try to put you in games with people around like 2K probably or 1800 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll. Yeah. I guess you think it'll just jump you right to 2K at the start? How does League do it? I don't play League enough at the start of a season.
It'll place you against players like that, but lower the MMR by a substantial amount.
Okay.
Like like if you were 2K, you fight the 2K guys, and then you'll place at 1550 or something.
The thing that's weird, the thing that's weird is that this is like the only game I've played where it doesn't have like kind of 2 systems going, because like for example, like I know how it works. I kind of know how it works in League, but I know how it works in Smite. Now it always worked in Smite. It was like you'd have like your MMR, which was hidden, and then you would have like your rank, right?
Right, yeah.
And it's like it would say like, and then like it would tell you what your MMR, what rank you would, so it'd be like I'd be playing, and it would place me in like gold 1 or something, but then it'd be like, okay, yeah, but you have diamond 2 MMR. So what would happen is like when I lose those games, I lose almost no points. When I win those games, I get 1,000,000 points until I'm up to
right.
And then but I lose a bunch of MMR I lose a bunch of MMR when I lose those instead of points.
That's the thing I'm most interested about, is how they're going to do that, because obviously they're going to curve the MMR. You know, it's going to be like on a curve. But if they just do like the flat same rating system, right? Like if it's just the exact carbon copy of point gain and point losses last season, like it'll be interesting to see. Like people who are ahead and get placed in games that, like, you know, if Divios places like at the cap of say 1550 or whatever, right? And there's no one else really, there's like a couple of players like that around that MMR, then he's just going to play games and lose more points than most other players. And it's going to be hard as hell for him to move up from there until every other person starts kind of catching up, which is, that's,
I mean, that's how
I'm very curious to see how they solve that problem, because that's a big problem.
Well, that's a system it's just always been like that. If you're above, if you're at the top, it's just you get no points and you lose.
Exactly. Now imagine just starting above like pretty much everybody, because you have a great placement system, you know?
Yeah, then you're pretty much you're pretty much just like waiting for the average to go up then.
Or you just don't queue until everyone else gets there, and then you can finally queue, which is not ideal at all.
Oh, I mean you can play. It's just that you're gonna just kind of, you're not really gonna go up a lot fast. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest. I just think it's like that's just kind of how the system works.
The only thing I don't like about that is it like pushes people towards alts.
Well, I think what pushes people towards alts is not getting anything for doing it. Yeah, because like
Yeah.
if I'm getting no rewards
Well, I mean,
and
yeah,
I'm
that
getting
too.
screwed,
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
getting what's the point? Like, it's just like when I hit incarnate, I'm like I didn't want to play it at all on incarnate because it's just like
Mhm.
no matter
Yeah.
what I lose, it's always minus 35 unless I'm against Armin, and then
Yeah.
and if I win, I get 15,
Unless you're against Armin's warrior, his suck warrior.
and then I get plus 35.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I wonder too, like Kerr's asking in chat if they're gonna do something about essentially as long as you play 49% of your games on a good class, you could just kind of boost your rank on the bad class. You just gotta like maintain somewhere between like a 48% and a 50% win rate on the weaker class, and then have your 60-70% on a bad class. I wish, and Choice has mentioned this a million times, but I really do wish it just sort of had like a rank on every class across your account, and you could just swap and queue up without having to get a whole new account to play Solare.
I'd have so much fun doing that. Oh my god.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this season I'm just gonna make like an alt now that the skill point shit's easy. I'm probably just gonna on my alt account. I'll probably just make a Sage. Because like the thing is I'm worried now is like if they announce like a tournament or something, I'm not. It's gonna be the same as last time where I'm just gonna only play my striker once the tournament's announced. But
Yeah.
until then, I want to play my Sage quite a bit.
All right, let's get your predictions now. Will the new map have gimmicks?
Yes.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Will they be the same gimmicks
Absolutely.
most people complain about?
No,
I'm
it's
It's gonna be worse somehow. It's gonna be great.
Pretty
It's
sure they're
gonna
just gonna
be-
bring Kadri back.
I'm waiting for that. Like
They're gonna add a fucking Hwacha that just ran. There's gonna the big
Oh, that sounds
Hwachas.
sick.
There's gonna be
That sounds sick, bro.
Hwachas in all corners of the map, and they're gonna just shoot randomly on the map and try to hit you at all times.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm just imagining like a player height laser that goes across the map, and the only classes that can avoid it are classes with like a double jump or a fly, and everyone else just dies.
Everyone has to crouch down. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone else has to crouch.
That was
Exactly.
And Zergers just always get hit because they're too tall.
Oh man. Can we talk about how they didn't say anything about rewards?
Dude.
yeah, that honestly bummed me out a lot, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That really bummed me out.
Dude, I don't understand, man. I legitimately don't. Like, I want to hear a legitimate reason for why we should get literally nothing for participating. I don't get it, man. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Dude, like, the thing that blows my mind is that you don't even get RBF rewards. As shitty as those are, you're actually more efficient to play RBF. Bria is making more money than all of us.
And you know what's funny? The way they did their, I guess what you would call their rewards for last season, which is pretty pitiful anyways. But the way they did that just kind of incentivized players to like log in and just like actually like legitimately like AFK or hope to get carried because they just wanted their daily.
Yeah, the
Play their
event.
daily match or whatever, get their little reward.
I mean, well, if you're AFK, you wouldn't get it. You had to
No,
win.
yeah, but like you know what I'm saying? Like people just
No, they
You know.
Divios. As someone who hung out at the bottom in the first season during the preseason for a while, but that was before the spin buff or anything that changed on Kuno. It was even harder. Dude, there are definitely people AFK in like 20% of my matches where I'd be like, dude, you gotta like just survive or use protection, something. They'd be like, I'm just here for my daily. I'm not PvPing, and it's like, oh my god, someone save me.
they'd rather have
they have to win the game for their daily.
Yeah, so they just go back.
15 times?
They go
Yeah.
20 times, and I'm like, dude, you could go. This guy, I literally got in an argument with him, and I was like, dude, why don't you? It's so inefficient to do this. You don't get that big of a reward. Why not just grind? And he literally replies, didn't ask. And then I got him in my next game. And I was like, oh,
that guy's real.
it's so awful.
Don't care. I'm just like,
Hit you with the who.
Dude,
Bro,
he
I mean,
really did.
it's true though, because like it happened to me too. So it's like, I mean, you just gotta. They just hope somebody carries them, and then they get their reward, and they call it a day. They're done.
That's
Yeah.
so tragic.
It is. Yeah. Hopefully there's no dailies, but hopefully there's also just rewards. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy to put rewards for winning that you could build over time, like revamp the Arsha coins that you collect over time or the Solare coins, and then just I mean, I know it's an exact ripoff of Lost Ark, but just let me take those coins, go to an NPC, and buy some shit.
Are just gem presets, like literally almost to the T. If you look
Like,
at it,
yeah, it does look
it's
exactly
almost
like
the same fucking thing. Like,
I'm down though. I'm down for
yeah, it's
it.
great. No, it's great. Lost Ark has great ideas. You should honestly steal great ideas and make them your own for
Mhm.
video game development. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, that's what WoW did for 25 years, man. 20 years.
exactly.
They already have like the node workshops and everything. Like something as simple as that. Just
they could,
with
yeah,
Archer Seals.
They could literally just make like a weekly like. I mean, like, they have like all that. Yeah, they have all the. They could do that. They could definitely do it.
They could do it. There's so much stuff you could buy. They could even add like just cosmetics. They could add like things that, you know, some people might not care about, like horse costumes and horse skin changes, etc. Just so much stuff. I don't know. Cron stones in there. You could just exchange some coins for cron stones or Caphras or dust, whatever. It's just weird.
Something to where you don't feel like you're wasting your time.
Yeah, because like if I literally got any amount of progression, I wouldn't kill Melt anymore. Like, I wouldn't even think about it.
I think the reason why they didn't bring it up at the Calpheon Ball is I think that not only, I mean, they're definitely afraid of giving rewards for PvP that are too much because of things like exploiting, you know, win trading or, you know, what have you, right? But I also think that the biggest thing is that they genuinely just don't know how to like create a system that gives you rewards in an efficient way from Solare. Like this shop thing seems like an easy answer, but like I feel like Pearl Abyss doesn't like doing easy solutions for whatever reason. They always try to make it over complicated and convoluted, and doing so, they either overpromise and underdeliver, or they just don't say shit until it's like completely out, right? And I think they're doing the latter for this situation.
I mean, they've been feeling it out for a year. Suna makes a good point too, because he was saying even the shitty AOS. And you guys probably ran into Suna this suck, Musa. He said even the shitty AOS top 100 rewards incentivize not playing after a certain period. I just did the math on what would land me top 100, got on both my characters, then stopped playing for 3 weeks. I couldn't play if I wanted to make sure I was top 100. The rewards need to be based off getting X rating, hit 2K, get the skin, etc. It's the only way to give rewards. No daily, no one, not top 100.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. I said they should have made like a reward where it went off your highest rank achieved.
Yeah, and that's how League of Legends has done it for literally years. They give you the glorious skin based on hitting a certain rating, and
right.
So it's because the thing is, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I agree completely. Because like literally because like obviously before the lock-ins for TwitchCon, right? I was like, okay, well, I'm rank 1 by like 100 points. I cannot play. I am gonna sit here and I'm not gonna play for like the next 2 weeks until that's locked in. It gets locked in. Okay, cool. I can play again. I play for another 2-3 weeks after that, and then there's okay. Now it's about to be near the end reward. So you need to be rank 1 in your class. You have to be top 100. It's like, okay, it's like, well, the only thing that can happen to me right now is if I play any games. The only situation, it's like I have all the rewards. If I play, I can lose them, and that's it. If I don't play, I will have them for sure.
That literally like almost happened to me.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
were
was
like
so comfortable. Yeah, I was so comfortable, and I was like,
300.
oh, I'll keep queuing, and I almost threw away rank 1 hash.
Yeah, and then separately, because like that's for like the end of season, but I don't see any reason why you can't get a couple 100 mil an hour if you're just solaring all day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
In whatever form they want to do it. For the people that are just participating, like maybe you make more on your wins. Maybe there's even like a percentage boost if you're winning, like if you are a higher rank or something, which is I think exactly what they do in Lost Ark, right? Like if you're a higher rank, you get more rewards. But just something. So like it doesn't need to be grinding money. It doesn't need to be gathering money. It doesn't even need to be. What was that guy in your chat the other day that's making 200 mil a day fishing? That guy's fucking He's out farming us, fishing. Man.
He's fishing. 200 mil a day.
Active fishing, dude. Just something.
Yeah, because I said for the first season, I'm like, okay, well, when the season started, they had like 3 events going where it was like, okay, well, you got there's a bunch of like kind of like 1-2 time rewards. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but if they don't keep up with these type of rewards every couple weeks, which obviously they're probably not going to do, and they didn't, then it gets to a point you're like I get no rewards for playing at all.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
like in both both at mid season and at end season, it's just like the only thing that can happen is I lose rewards if I play. If you're like a high rank. If you're not a high rank, then you're trying to get to a rank where you're happy with, and then you stop. Because if you don't want to go down again. I mean, that's
Right.
literally how Norelio, right at the end, he lost rank 1 Sage.
Well, that
That
guy that got rank 1 was just a god.
But I'm saying like he was rank 1 Sage.
Say
for
his name, Divios.
2.5. I don't know what his name was.
Toxic.
Let's see.
I want to see. His name was Palamarato.
Okay.
He was nuts. I never saw him a single time.
But like the thing is, right? Like he had it for 10 weeks or whatever of the 12 weeks, right? Or whereas it was, I don't know if it was 2 months or 3 months. I can't remember. I think it was two. But he had it for basically all but like the last week or whatever.
Dude,
And what happened was he was at like 1800, and he's like, damn. I need to play one more game so I can try to get to the top 100.
Oh, dude.
And then he plays one more game, he loses. He goes down to like 1450, and then he inches his way back up to where he was, and the guy beats him by a game or two.
Dude, I had a very similar experience. I was sitting comfy around like 1830. I was rank 1 all the way until the last weekend before it ended.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reezy passed me, and then I think Sludzy was either right ahead of me or right behind me. And I was like, you know what? If I just win 2, I bet these other Kunos will probably lose because they're still Kunos at the end of the day.
Oh no! I just no.
And I went on a massive,
holy shit!
I went on a massive loss streak, dude. It was and I was like, one more to get back, and then I was like, oh fuck this game, dude, I'm out. I just lost it all, dude. It was so sad.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's like there is like it's an incentive where it's like even with the say like the end of season incentives were amazing, right? All it would change is just be like, yeah, it still wouldn't make people want to play more.
Yeah, not the average person.
I mean, all it would change is it would make it so people, if it was only end of season, just like it is now, even if they made it they gave you 10 bill, you know what changes? It doesn't make people play more. It makes sure people don't play when they're ahead. That's what it does.
Yeah, it just needs to be highest peak.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out a philosophical take, and then we can move on. If everyone is making some semblance of silver, where like you don't feel like you're wasting your time, I think a lot of people that Solare that are in lower ranks would spend more time and actually improve and bring people to higher ranks over time. And because that incentive's not there, they kind of don't know why they're doing this game mode and then quit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
For sure. In any other game I've ever played, that's like an MMO, like other Korean games, there's always some sort of reward where you're like spamming games to work on, I don't know, like other games have like a PvP set that you can use open world or whatever, you know, stuff like that. So it's like there's always something, and this just feels like it's nothing. So they just give up on it after a few games because it's like, yeah, it's fun, but dude, I gotta grind, man.
The way Lost Ark does it, again, they do it in a really smart way because there's 2 separate ratings, right? There's the actual rate, like ranked, you know, platinum, diamond, master, channel, whatever, and then there's like a separate rating that is only based on like games played, and the more games you play, the bigger the shop gets, right? In terms of quantity, right? The items stay the same, but the total quantity of items you can purchase each day and purchase with the PvP currency increases. So like, you know, even if you queue up and ranked gives you more EXP is pretty much how it works in that game. So at least I believe, I'm like 85% sure that's the case.
It does.
So
right, yeah.
So yeah, even if you just queue up and you're just getting your shit pushed all day, you're still like increasing that other rating, and you're gonna end up making more money at the end of the day from PvPing, and you could lose every ranked game you've ever played in your life. And stuff like that is like gives you a reason to queue. Like it gives you like some sort of feeling of like, okay, I am on a 15 game lose streak and it's going horrific today, but at least I have that going for me. And it's some sort of like pity thing, right? And
at least I got a couple bill or whatever.
Yeah, at least I got something instead of just an actual kick in the dick.
Yeah.
Which is usually what happens when you have a bad day.
And now at 800 mil an hour at Centaurs or 900 mil at Secrea, 1.3 bill at Hex, you know, it's not unreasonable to get like 250 mil an hour, is it? After an 8-hour day of a bill?
I still think
Whatever.
that I never understand why people shoot so low for that. Like in terms of like,
Well,
that's how desperate PvP
yeah,
players are to make
that's
money. They're
why.
like, give me 50 mil, dude, please,
I
man.
mean,
It's-
that really is what it
I
comes
mean,
down
it's,
to.
Yeah.
it's infinitely more than 0. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the plea for like, dude, we're not asking for like the same efficiency. We just want something. That's
Yeah.
why it's like a please, just something. Give us something. Yeah, times are tough, man. All right, to move on, I'm gonna do just quick QL stuff. I'm just gonna lightning round these. So shared silver across accounts. New Shakatu seal that has better improved rewards. New dance moves for shy, musical moves for other classes. Cheering
Yep.
for sharps and hards got removed. They're gonna have an on-off switch for the low HP blinking, which is really
That's big.
annoying. That is huge. And then the new guild payment and activity UI where you can kind of submit. I actually think this is super cool. If for people that run
Yeah.
guilds, it's so big, but you basically submit your activity and then the GM at the end of the week could just go click on all the things and approve it or not. And then
It also like specifically says what you showed up to, like in No
Yeah.
Run and Siege, they said. So
yeah, which
a
is
lot of times,
really,
yeah,
really
like-
cool.
yeah.
So that'll be nice. Plus the payout interface is really cool and breaks down all the math for you and does everything, which is really cool too. So
Yep.
all good stuff. Was there anything in like the little stuff that you guys disliked, or like for example the boat not being
The-
permanent?
Let us all dance.
The boat bait. Yeah, let us all
Yeah,
dance.
let me dance,
dude.
bro.
Bro,
know
that
how
was
great it would
such
be?
bait.
You know how
Yeah.
great it would be to fucking kill somebody and dance on their body? Oh my
Yes.
god, are you kidding me? That'd
Dude,
be
they
great.
baited us so hard. They're like, but wait, Shy's not going to be the only class that gets to dance,
Yeah, those
right?
fuckers, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Yes,
And then
they
they're
are.
like, nope, yeah, just Shy.
No, the thing that was so bait about it too is that was the setup for everything that Lemuria was
Yes,
doing,
yes,
where it was
yes.
like, oh no, that's gonna be for this. It's like,
Yes,
oh okay,
that-
so Lemuria set it up, and then the guy looked at me, he's like, no, it is definitely just for Shy. Lemuria,
was
stick
so
to the
foul.
script, Lemuria. Yeah, that was sad. And then they said they had a surprise at the end, and they didn't explain anything. They just showed a band of Santa Clauses playing music.
Yeah, what is that? So every class is going to be able to play an instrument now?
That's what it says here in their. It says for other classes that are sad they won't be able to dance, they will be able to perform musical pieces.
Oh,
So Shy's not the only one that can do music now.
I guess.
yay.
Can you play music on someone's body after you kill them? Because the sad violin would be just as
Yeah,
Got the
efficient
fucking
as a
flute?
dance.
Yep. That'd be
can.
tight. That'd be tight. That'd be tight.
Yeah, I'd be into that. And then the one other thing about Shy is they did reiterate that Shy is just an RP class and was invented to be cute, and they're okay with that direction and are not going to change it to be more combat oriented.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so funny because I feel like that was a direct response to the 98 Shy posts in the first day from like the class balance thing. You know
Yeah.
that like forum post that?
Yeah.
That's got to be a direct response to that because that was so funny.
So, Divios, I think what they're talking about is the Shies that are like, when I'm open world, I want to
they
be able to
wanna
kill
1v1 people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think it's addressing that, and they're like, no, you're never going to kill people.
'Cause I think they're at worst top 3 in the game right now, and being like in terms of anything that isn't 1v1.
Yeah. So there was that. All right, on to the big stuff. Land of Morning Light. This was depressing and exciting all at the same time. Well,
Oh,
the release date was depressing,
okay.
and the actual zone was pretty exciting because it just sounds and looks cool and it's interesting. And unfortunately, when we were at the ball, and I'm sure everyone else saw on stream, they like queued up a video and said the queue to start it, and then nothing actually started, so we didn't actually get to see anything. But
Yeah, where is that video?
yeah, where's that? I don't know why they didn't. They announced this thing that they were calling Boss Rush, Lost Ark Steel again, and
Yep.
essentially they said there's not going to be any grind spots like circular mass mob grind spots in the new zone, but instead there's going to be a series of bosses around the map that you'll be able to fight and change difficulties, and they'll have tough mechanics. And their example was, imagine a solo Sikrakia boss.
Yeah.
So I'm
I think
curious because there's so
I think
many
that's great.
ways this can go, and we don't know which way it is. Does this mean like gatekeepers, they're going to be down? Is just Cho Nation going to be grinding
they
the
said
spots?
You get to choose. You get to spawn them, and you get to choose like what level they are.
Okay, and then
That's
how
what it is.
often do you get to spawn them? Is this something I can do all day?
I'm pretty sure what's gonna like. This is what I got from it. Obviously, it's like a little bit reading between the lines, but it like I how I imagine it goes. You start it, you fight one boss in the zone you were at, or whatever, and then after you kill him, it'll basically be it'll like tell you where to go next, and there'll be another boss there waiting for you, and you fight that boss there, and then you go run over to the next place, you fight the next boss here.
That's pretty much exactly the first thing I thought of too. It's just like you pretty much do like a world tour of the
whole
map
area.
and the region of the bosses, and then you are done for like either it's like a weekly or a daily. Definitely not something you can just spam. That was the way I thought about it, at least.
I think it may be something you can spam, but
Yeah.
I may not. Yeah,
I have no idea. They do show.
They also said that like, there's going to be guild bosses for a couple of them.
Yeah.
And the guild boss will be completely different than the solo one, and it will be like team oriented.
I thought that was a weird.
And but they did say there's like 8 bosses, and all of them will be like a solo version with like difficulties similar to like the Sakrakia.
In one of these demos, they show what looks like 4 people fighting this boss.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because, like, for me, when I think guild boss, like, I'm not super into 90 people showing up to Ferret. It's just not fun. Even if the rewards are good, it's still kind of lame. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine trying to coordinate that with actual mechanics? What a fucking
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
That would be absolute content. Holy shit.
So when they say guild bosses, there is part of me that hopes it's like you can do these with your guild, but like it doesn't need to be 90 people.
That would be sick, though.
No, I know what.
Because then you get to fucking laugh at all the people dying.
Oh my God, that would be such fun content. It'd actually be amazing.
It will be great content.
It'd be horrific to do, especially if you like kind of needed to do it. Say it was like the money was like super good or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be so fun to watch. Oh
your whole guild's just wiping for hours.
Just hours and hours.
So, Vert, are you hoping this is like a weekly, a daily, or kind of an infinite thing you could just do for money?
I mean, I guess my issue with it is I'm curious how they're gonna make it both rewarding and enjoyable as like something that can be repeated. Because for me, like when it comes to a boss like that, you know, it's similar to the dungeons, like in terms of the enjoyment comes with learning the boss fight, learning the mechanics, etc. And then after that, it just becomes something you do for rewards, and it's kind of mind-numbing to an extent.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how they're going to, you know, keep it exciting and not just have it be like an Altar of Blood experience at the end of the day.
Well, if it's just like ultra, I mean, I could see it being like Ataraxian type, like another one of like that type of thing, where it's like it's like a weekly. It's okay. I got. What if it's weekly per character?
Oh my God!
It's like Legion raids. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if it's if you're soloing the Sakrakia boss every day, Vert, does that sound fun?
I mean, it literally just has Lost Ark flashbacks all over again. Just waking up, logging on, got to teleport out to Hasso, do my dailies.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know if you guys are familiar with how old school RuneScape has done their most recent system of raids. It did it in a very, very smart way. And I know it's kind of like a fucking cope. I'm actually huffing some real cope right now. But I think it'd be fantastic if they did something along that method. So how they pretty much did it is you go into the raid and you pretty much open up like a board, with all these different modifiers and different things that kind of change the difficulty of a particular encounter, and the rewards increase based on that. And the bosses have mechanics. And these little encounter modifiers essentially change how things like happen. Like in order to do like the highest level of the raids or whatever, you have to do it like you can't use any in-raid items or something like that, which is like very
mythic dungeons.
Yeah, pretty much to a certain extent. Yeah, and it's really smart, and it makes things like actually sitting there spamming it like super enjoyable, because like you go in, the more comfortable you get with the mechanics and whatnot, like the harder and more stipulations you put on yourself, and then you get better rewards. And it's just a really smart way to make something that is pretty much linear, and as soon as you figure it out, it's like, okay, it's done now, I know how to do it. they pretty much gave it replayability that way, and it's.
Mhm.
I would love for that to be the case for these, but it's like I said, huffing a ton of cope there.
Yeah. No, you're on
mean-
bad.
I'm down bad. Bro. We feeling good.
I
you know what I'm
don't know.
saying? Real good.
I feel like it's I think like someone said in chat, I think it's just we're gonna show up all excited and it's just gonna be doing dark rifts once a week, but in this zone.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
feel
so.
that same way, but I just such a miserable way to think about things all the time.
I hope
bro.
it's
feel
not
like
that.
this-
No,
I
mean,
hope it's not.
No, I mean after like they showed with that both the last two Ataraxians, they can definitely make a boss.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They like
Oh.
both those both the second and third dungeon bosses are really well made.
Like if it felt anything like Guardian Rifts in Lost Ark, I'd be pretty down. The problem with Guardian Rifts in Lost Ark to me was that it made you repeat the same one twice, which was annoying every day.
On every character.
Yeah. And then if you missed it, you also felt like crap, I'm screwed. But if this was like, yeah, I could go do these bosses, I could go do the round of bosses, and it's like just
yeah.
comparable to grinding Hex or something, but it's different content, then I'd be pretty down. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm down.
I'd prefer it like kind of like a solo Ataraxian type thing where it's like you do it it's like a weekly thing. But I also think that like then what the heck do you do in that zone for the rest of the week?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, are they really
Yeah.
just going to give us the whole zone is basically a weekly?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is
Well,
like
well, I mean, to be fair, that zone being a weekly would be infinitely more than most of Eternal Winter. So
yeah, that's a good point actually.
Eternal
Okay,
Winter
but
is
Jade's fire now.
Eternal
right?
Winter is either you don't go ever or you do Jade sometimes if you want to have fun.
Yeah.
Not if you're trying to be the most efficient, but if you're trying to have fun.
No, yeah, but that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't want it to be like that bar is so low.
Yeah.
I mean, Dregan also sucked, and now Dregan's a pretty important region just because it's like the treasure items. But I don't know. I hope it's like, I hope it's cool. I love the idea of fighting a boss with your class.
mean,
it's just
yeah, like I mean, they've shown now that they definitely can make these bosses. They can do it. I'm not worried about the difficulty and like the fun of the bosses. I'm just worried about how they implement like is it because it could literally just be like something where like it could literally be like a grind type of thing where it's just like you fight boss and it just keeps rotating in a circle forever and you just keep going until you don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I think
Or
replayability with bosses is always so hard.
it's hard.
So
Or-
it's so hard.
I mean, I think it's more still even after that it's more replayable than grinding mobs. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, but grinding a hack and slash
it-
like turn your brain off thing is so different. It's hard to compare because like
The
I mean
thing
the
is, all
same
the-
thing as in
all the areas
Diablo,
people
Path of
all the-
Exiles. You literally just you could do it like people can do that for hours. It's so hard to just fight the same one boss over and over again for hours.
The thing is though, right? That I mean, a lot of the more newer zones, you can't do that. You can't turn your brain off. You die if you do that, unless
I
you're like
mean,
gear kept with
where-
elixirs.
Where
Yeah,
are we,
in
where
which
are we
case-
talking about?
Hex, like if you just
Yeah, I
stop
guess
paying attention to the circles, you just
kind of
instantly die.
hex. I don't know. Now I
Yeah.
basically turn my
Troll.
brain off there now. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
but,
that
like-
crazy. Like, sure, it's like a gear check, but once you have enough gear, it's like pretty hard to die there. Unless you're
Man,
well,
speak for yourself. My feed looking real red versus
well,
Hex, bro.
I
I'm
guess
thinking
if like
about-
the Cyclops and the Witch are up, I'm not saying I never die there, but it's also like, I don't know. You're not really using your brain. You just have to be awake. That's the only
And, like,
thing.
the thing is like you know, depending on that, like, you know, how involved you have to be. Some people would just be like, I'm just not going to do that because I have to think too much. And like, there's tons of people who do that currently now with like Olins and stuff. Like, I'm kind of one of those guys. Like, so it's hard to make content like that for a game that's primarily been just like a brain off hack and slash. So we got to make it. I think making it fun and not just like spam repeatable, or that's not the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think it's
you-
either they go
you
the
get what I'm saying, I guess.
I just think they either go the Ataraxian route, make it super worth doing like once or twice a week, or it's like just a grind spot thing where you just rotate in a circle fighting bosses.
I think the other thing that's interesting about the fact that it's just bosses and not any grind spots is, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw like the Videolytics map or whatever, but it's pretty huge. It's not
Yeah.
a small area. So that's why I was kind of shocked when they first said that at the Calpheon Ball, because I was like, That's a lot of space to just be like, there's 8 bosses here and that's it. Because I think they said 8, right?
Yeah,
what they
8
said?
bosses.
They did.
Yeah, so I don't
It's a
know.
pretty good amount of bosses.
It is a lot of bosses. I guess.
But how
maybe
much
they need to be
area does
spread
each
out.
boss take, right?
Yeah,
It's just
maybe they're
what is
huge.
everything else in the middle going to be just
Like
absolutely
a
fucking dead? Like,
Little
that's
arena, you know?
weird.
Little boss
Oh.
arena.
That's
Little
the
boss
other
area.
fear too. That is like, I don't want it to end up like the crow's nest shit, because that shit's not that fun. You know what I mean? That's another like bad way it could go.
No,
is that
I enjoyed Pit Von Dying.
how,
There was like
of-
two.
how,
There
how
was
often?
2 bosses.
How often?
Just
How
do
much
this-
time do you spend a week there?
0 because it gives you nothing. It literally loses you money. It literally takes money from you while you're fighting the bosses. And never go
Okay,
to
do
it.
you? How much replayability would it have?
money,
Let's say it's
if I got
900
money-
mil an hour.
oh, I do it every time. Yeah, I do it every day.
Okay, you're a unique specimen, my friend. I feel like it's so awful. It's like cool the first couple times and then it just gets awful.
I think there's like 1 or 2 awful bosses, but other than that, I like them.
Someone in chat just brought up a really interesting idea. I kind of fear for this. I don't think it'll happen, but what if they made you kind of go and like hunt the boss spawns, like
Like
a
Monster
rare mob
Hunter?
in like WoW or something, right? Because like the map is massive, right? And if they don't have like static spawns for it, you have to like run around the entire map to find each boss, you know? Like that could be fucking miserable. I really hope that's not gonna happen. I didn't even cross my mind that could happen, but it very well could happen.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Maybe it's a daily and you just get assigned 1 boss per day. It's like, go slay this today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish we
Wonder how
got to
long
see
the
that
boss
demo.
fights are.
Wish we got to see that demo.
It's
I
such
mean,
a question mark because they're like,
time,
check
I
out
mean,
the gameplay. Nothing showed
I mean,
up.
you'd imagine like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
other boss, 10, 15 minutes like the other bosses.
Yeah. I do wonder. I don't know. I hope it's cool though. I used to love the like BAMs. I don't know if it's gonna be anything comparable to that, but like in Terra, fighting like the big boss. I mean, those are pretty grindable, and you could just sit there and fight those, or fight like groups of mobs. It's kind of like an either or kind of thing. But who knows?
I don't know, but like I don't know, I like stuff like that a lot more.
And the rest of the stuff was all story and quest, and they showed a Musa with a fun hat, the Nine Tails lady. The biggest boss is this tiger. It's gonna be the hardest boss. Who looks pretty cool, by the
Tiger
way.
looks pretty sick.
He kind of
Do
does.
you think
dude.
do you think he's gonna be a world boss?
That's the vibe I was getting until they
Same.
said
I got
that
everything
same
was
exact
a
vibe.
boss.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah. I don't know. World bosses are another thing to me that are just very uninteresting frame drop clusterfuck. Like where I gotta go to lowest opti and turn my graphics
I
off
definitely
before
agree.
I go.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
The world, it's just 1,000 people fighting a boss is not ever gonna be fun. I feel like, but
Yeah, because it's either the boss does nothing and he just stands there and slowly dies, or he just cleaves and one shots everyone he hits at all times. And that's it. And then
Yeah.
and people are just fucking running back and dying over and over again.
yeah,
I think the
Like I just think back to the fucking the chameleon in Lost Ark when that.
Oh my god, yeah.
He's just
I
fucking,
love chameleon.
and there's just a fucking trail of people running back just over and over and over again.
Bro, that shit's so funny. Malaki or whatever. his name
Don't
is.
Yeah.
spawn
Boy.
node. Don't
Oh.
spawn node. And
Yeah.
fucking boss
And
would
then people
Trying to get
spawn,
away.
and then they fight him for 15 minutes, and he just resets, I guess.
Oh my
God.
god.
Yeah, that was awful. What were you gonna say before, Vert?
I was just like kind of my last comment on the topic. I think if done well and it's like a good reward,
Mhm.
there are still plenty of like really, really good grind spots at the moment. Like maybe the most there's ever been, like
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of options.
Definitely.
So even if, it turns out to not be everyone's cup of tea, you still have like the old way
For
of
sure.
grinding. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
that's
I
cool.
agree. And I have no doubt they'll probably do a Medaya or a Medaya Elvio down like in a year or whatever too. So it's probably
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I don't think we need more grind spots. I just
Yeah.
hope it doesn't end up something like you go do it once and it's cool and then it like just you're like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to go back there.
I mean, I'm down. Like that's the thing about dailies and if you make like a weekly or a daily that's really rewarding, I am way more down for that. Because that's the thing that was like again my problem with Eternal Winter. It's like it was a very fun zone, when you go for the helmet, but like there's just not a lot of reasons to be there unless you just really like Jade, which I do.
I do like Jade. Now that it's fixed though, it sucked at first. But now it's pretty good. Nola in chat said all the bosses are gonna have a Garmoth Cagdum face.
That would be dope.
No, it would not. Please,
Dude,
please
could you
don't
imagine
do
waiting
that.
for the thing to stop fucking? Oh my god.
Dude,
miserable.
that's what the horses are gonna be. Those green horses. You got to kill all the
wait
little horses first.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That sounds terrible. Oh my god.
Bro, the fact that all the bosses are gonna be like solved with guides out before it comes down is
That's
sad.
So let's talk about that. So they said it's coming to Korea in February, and then they literally just said they don't have a date for the rest of the globe.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start with you, Vert. What are your feelings on that announcement?
I mean, I've been extremely vocal about that in the past, especially like when it's come to the dungeons and stuff. Like, I don't know. I hate it.
I mean,
Takes away from the experience.
yeah, for me, I'll just ignore I'm just not gonna click on anything that looks like one of those, and I'll experience them. But
the problem is like for me is like I have no problem like ignoring all that shit, not watching any of it, and blind running myself. But like if this was like forced group content and you were like trying to pub it, and everyone's like, oh, the fucking mechs, right? Mechs, like that's what ruins it for me. So I'm glad that at least I can actively just ignore all that shit and.
Yeah, because I mean, the things about that, right? It's like you only get to experience those things once.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
You only get the experience of learning what the fuck's going on and how working through it once. Like as soon as you know, and then it's easy.
Right.
It's just
and honestly,
every
that's
one
some
of
of
those
the most fun I've had in games. It's just going through that.
Like that's the thing. Like I was like a lot of people were like telling me like, oh yeah, like it was like 3 hours in or something. And we had to take like an hour off because we were waiting for Kythar and we had to find someone. So it's like I'm like 2 or 3 hours in and they're like, yo, Choice cleared it. You're doing this all wrong. I'm like, I don't care. I just like turned. I'm like,
bro, that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, bro, and then like after
and
then I cleared it. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they were just really good and they did. But like, no, I watched back. They knew exactly what's happening the whole time. I'm like, fuck
Dude,
that.
I was. Oh my god. I literally posted in the Discord. I was like, we're not gonna do any spoilers, right? And then like Wutaru and Gopher just started linking like full guides, like okay,
Yeah,
this mechanic, you do this,
Dude.
and I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, I watched it back. I'm like, bro, they knew exactly where to go the first time they went in.
yeah.
Dude, you know how many times we got killed by that? You know the thing with the spinning orbs to enter phase 2? We died to that thing like 10 times. You're like, what the heck is that?
My group, it's so funny. So I got my group was trying to figure out based off of a Korean video with no audio. So we're just looking and like, wait, what exactly is the mechanic here? Like I was okay, like kind of okay with spoilers, at least to get through the puzzles. I just wanted to like get to the boss fight, But the thing that sucked is I didn't have a group set to do it until like 11:30 the night before, and the group was like, we're starting at 5 a.m. and I was like, oh my god, my sleep schedule is not prepared for this. I'm so fucked. So my brain, like I had to like I fell asleep at like 1 or 2 and then was like forcing myself to try to I was like a zombie playing through the thing. So I was just getting dragged. It was unfortunate, but I don't know. I just wanted to ask your opinions, and I guess like none of us are on the Korean server, so we can't say for sure, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, our version comes out in we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say the end of April. Worst case probably June or July. But let's just say benefit of the doubt end of April when it's done being translated. Is it really that bad for them to just delay the Korean version to make it a global launch for just 2 months?
I think the problem with that is that they actually don't know how long the localization is going to take. So like they want to announce new content. I mean, part of the whole point of the ball is to announce new content, and like people kind of knew this region was coming and had a feeling it was going to be announced at the ball and whatnot. So like if they ever like actually are just unsure on how long localization will take, then just saying, yeah, here's a new region and global release whenever we localize it, which we have no idea when that'll take and how long that'll take. And I feel like that's the main reason why. It's not a great reason, but that's got to be the only reason why, really.
That does make sense, but it still is like, I don't know how you could not. I get that the timeline isn't like totally set in stone, but then the region is not done. I'm trying to think of another game because I understand like Lost Ark it's just more popular in Korea, right? Like it's a huge game, and like Ion is and Terra is, and they've always been. But this one is different, where it's like literally this is NAEU, and now just globally outside of Korea is the main server. So it's like so odd that the main server at this point is getting it last when I don't think it should be getting it first, but it should just be at the same time. It really just should, like, and if it's not ready, then it's not ready. Like that's just it sucks, but it's like no watching another. I mean, like you said, it's just as bad for like dungeons or anything. But dude, I'm just like imagining a world where Dragonflight comes out in NA and nowhere else for 7 months or 4 months. Like that, how insane would that be?
I mean, for me, it's just like similar to like, cause like obviously like Lost Ark, the whole time I've ran like all of them blind so far.
Yeah.
And it's like every now and again you'll see a clip or something like, and like just you'll kind of know like something, but you don't really know like how it works. But like just like you have to like specifically keep away. Like right now, like Shaza is also coming out, and it's like I'm having to keep away from like everything because it's like everyone's just like spamming guides and what to do here and stuff for everything. I'm like, okay, well I just can't look at anything about the game for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. See, for me, it's like I think for Lost Ark it makes sense, right? Because the launch was so delayed, and I think for BDO it made sense for a while because we truly were like really far behind in the content. But I think we're at a point where it's not the case. Like we're completely caught up. We have the same shit they do. Like at this point, everything should be a global release. Like if it needs to be delayed in KR for us to get it at the same time, I think that's what needs to be done. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Koreans probably would not feel the same way, but at this point, like NAEU is making a majority of the money for the game, and we're a majority of the audience. And I think like not having a global release is kind of just like shitting on the Western players.
It is. There were so many people before that Friday when we were all meeting up, so many partners and non-partners, people attending that event that would like jokingly say, imagine them coming to North America and announcing a new region, but it's not available in North America. And it's like, there's no way this time, because it's gotten to the point where it doesn't feel like, because we've gotten the dungeons global release, we get classes global release now. So it's like, I think they know now, like they can't be doing that. And then they did it anyway. And it's just like, holy shit. We actually just came here and said, hey, by the way, KR is getting this cool content. We have no idea when you will be. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, localization, I don't know how difficult localization is really. I mean, it's got to be a real headache if it takes as long as it has in the past. But it's really just got to be the fact that they have legit no idea, and holding out on content for them for whatever reason is worse than global release. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense, but yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. It's just like, the timing on it is the only thing that was like upsetting, but
yeah, the actual thing, the announcements were cool, and I'm excited to see what everything is, even though I guess they didn't really show anything, but it's just depressing. It's like, I don't know. It's just unfortunate that they haven't gotten localization figured out, and I don't know. I don't understand how so many other games do it and they struggle so much. I don't know if it's a budget thing, a staff thing, or what, but yeah, it's pretty. I find it to be really, really wild. All right, moving on to something that is being globally released. So they announced the Woosa. They did this really cool trailer, which I feel like did they post the trailer, the actual like lore trailer with the sister? Did that get posted on their site?
Yep.
So during that trailer, I already kind of was like getting hints. I was like, no, they're probably. Wait, did they? I don't see it on their YouTube. I see the dev commentary, but I don't see just the full.
I don't think it was. I saw it like the day before from the mobile one.
Oh, maybe the mobile one did.
they had the same thing, except except instead of where it cuts to like the Woosa fighting, it like skips that, and then it does the Maegu fighting when it's the Maegu's turn. But it's
Oh, okay. Here, I they have it on the KR video page. But anyway, so they had this cool like lore trailer where it showed the Woosa show up and start fighting. The combat looked immediately cool, and then her sister started fighting her. And like right there when we were watching that, I was like, dude, are they gonna announce it? There's no way they have this much graphics already for this class, and it's not coming. You know what I mean? Like even the model looks done, and then the same leaves from the mobile trailer I just saw like the night before.
Yep.
So they announced the Woosa and demoed all the Woosa stuff. So I guess starting with the Woosa, Divios, what are your initial impressions on the Woosa?
I think it feels so like cleanly made. Like I don't know, it feels like so smooth. I don't know. It's like, and I'm playing it on 300 ping. Like when I go global lab, I'm like 300 ping, and everything still feels like fucking buttery smooth on that class.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it's gonna feel like on like 30.
Vert, your initial reaction to the Woosa, and I know you played it for the first time today.
Yeah. I think overall the kit does feel really fun, and it feels extremely smooth. Like Divya said, I don't want to judge it too hardcore before I see the 6 skills or whatever it's missing, because I think it does lack in certain ways, but I think it can be made up for with those skills. So I'm interested, and I really want to see how they're gonna do this awakening with like the shared weapons but different styles. I think that's pretty sick.
So I was watching your stream earlier, Vert, when you were messing with it. You had been dueling or whatever, and I actually think a lot of people are going to have the same reaction you have, just because visually, obviously, like it's really just insane looking. Yeah. But then you were like, it's awesome looking. It really, really is. And then you're just like, but I don't know. I don't know if it's for me. And I think a lot of people are going to have that, like based on the hype. The hype is like crazy for the class right now. But I don't know if it's going to be for everyone. Because I'm with you, Divios. I feel like it feels super smooth, but I can't put my finger on why I feel like the average person's not going to like it that much.
I can tell you why.
Why?
So can I.
I think it's a combination. Like the class, in my opinion, feels like a combination of like suck hash and suck sage.
Yep.
That's why you think too, Strat? Why people might not like it? Okay, 100%. So
100%.
Why would that deter people from it? That feeling?
Because there's, especially in 1v1, you kind of feel like you're not doing anything. There's a lot of time for right now. It has like a lot of things where it has a lot of really powerful abilities and things you can do, but it also has like 2 catches. And there's a lot of time you're running around in 1v1 and you're like, wow, I'm actually not doing anything. You're just like, you're hopping around, you're sitting there, you're not actually like doing anything. And that is exactly how Sage pretty much played his 1v1 until like a month ago.
Strat, is that how you feel too?
So for me, it's like it's a mixture of that and also the weight and the heaviness and like the stuff that's designed to be aesthetically cool. Like kind of the walking after the dashes and whatnot.
Yeah. That
kind of stuff, that lack of snappiness. After people play a class like Warrior or any other really snappy class, that kind of weight just does not mesh. Like initially, that was my biggest turnoff for hash, is when you do the side dash, your guy like has to like put his foot down, like kind of stop it. He's like, skirt, you know what I mean? Like, that little weight to it just feels like you have input lag. It feels like you're playing on like a 75-inch TV.
I love like that kind of shit on Sage.
Yeah, I think the aesthetics of it and the feeling of it is like the design choices they made is like super cool. But some people just can't get past that, and they're just like, that's it, I can't do it, and they're not going to play it because of that.
So I'm kind of still withholding judgment on the 1v1 stuff, because I'm just, and I know it's hard to do this because this is what they've given us, so all we could really do is say how it feels with the stuff. But I'm imagining a Suck Kuno where you remove Sinew Cut, Heart Snatch, Shackle Target, Wheel of Wrath, and Dance Macabre, and I'm like, that would feel awful.
Your and grab.
and grab, but even then, like Sork, like let's say on Sork you removed Eruption, Ignition, the little forward guard Rabomb, and also, you know, whatever. It's just like
you're missing a lot.
Yeah, you're missing a lot, so it's kind of hard to say.
And like,
sometimes, but Rabombs are RNG, so there's no guarantee it's gonna fix it.
Rabombs are usually like there's most of the time it's like one of them's pretty good, and there's normally two that are kind of like That's like I think the average like power level of a Rabomb, right? It's like if it's usually like you have one Rabomb that's pretty damn good, and then you have a couple that are like I could use those.
Mm-hmm.
And then for like awakening skills, usually they're like pretty good. They're not like usually like your best skills. They're usually pretty good. And then the Magnus skill is usually pretty damn good. Like pretty like.
But it's weird.
Like most Magnus skills are pretty good.
We've had a trend of them like after Hash. Obviously, like the Hash bombs are just nuts, right? Like the Hash bombs and one of the C skills is fairly basic, the Dune Slash one, but Binding Spirals is pretty nuts. So like that class without that would feel awful. Although it's Magnus skill is Vert's favorite skill in the whole game. But like then some classes the Rabombs feel really bad, so it's been hit and miss. But one of the new class, like Corsair's Rabombs, are in my opinion like some of the best Rabombs. They're so good. So you never know.
With the changes they did in the last like couple months, Sage's Rabombs are actually getting really good now too.
Yeah,
they
so
buff
it really
all
just
of them
depends.
so much.
I feel more positive about the 1v1 than everyone else does. But if the standard is like Suck Ninja and stuff, then obviously it's like
no, it's definitely not bad.
So
it's definitely not bad. It's not like terrible 1v1.
Yeah.
But like obviously you have to remember that like that everyone is playing the Woosa, so it's literally you're both playing very fast, no stamina iframe class. It's like it's literally like it feels like you're just fighting a Sork and you're a Sork and it's like except you're both just kind of bad at the class, so you're just like it's like two people that are not very good at Sork just fighting each other. It's like you're just kind of just iframing around. You're like, well, this is terrible.
I think the thing that felt the worst was just the lack of like catches, I guess. Like it literally comes down to like two buttons. Like sometimes your shift Q goes nuts, but
it's crazy. They almost feel there. Like that throw, the disc throw is so bad, right, Vert? Like it feels so slow.
Yeah.
I just compare it to like Halliday throw, which isn't even that insane. And I'm just like, dude, I would much rather have Halliday throw.
But the other one's good though. The Downey.
Yeah, Downey is great, but that's like you said, that's like one, right?
Yep.
Like you've got that, and then you have
the forward right click's really good.
With positioning properly, you could catch with E or forward F. But the forward
F sometimes like E is like yeah, you can, but it doesn't. E is like one that feels like you shouldn't really use very often, but it is like something you can use. Forward right click is insane.
Yeah,
Shift
forward
Q
right
is
click is very
insane.
good. Shift Q is obviously insane in a long cooldown.
Yeah.
I just think forward F feels like the AoE is too small that it's not quite worth it. Like when you land, it's just like so hard to, I don't know. So
it is definitely weird to land.
Strat, you want to, any final thoughts? I know you got to head out to Node War right now.
Yeah. Like for me, my biggest thing is I think that Woosa is like the aesthetics and style of it and that kind of play style of dashing around in the sky step, like that is so cool. My biggest issue with the class at the current moment, obviously understanding that they are missing a bunch of skills, is like I don't know what that class is like designed to do. I got a very similar vibe with Awakened Drac, specifically after the live release of it, because it doesn't necessarily excel at ratting around. Like it can iframe, it can survive, but it's not going to be opening up and getting picks on people, you know, because the lack of CC pressure. And it also isn't really meant to be like a main ball bomber. Like you could say, oh yeah, they got the PA to like shoot back damage and kill everyone. But like realistically, if you jump in front of people out of the sky step and then PA, like you're going to die before it's done. So
well, you can cancel any time with an iframe.
Yeah. But like, you know, I don't know about you, but I die sometimes in like literal like 1 to 2 frames. Like I blink and I'm dead. So stuff like that. I mean, even through PA, it happens. So
I think no matter what, it's gonna just fly in, drop PA, and then 200% and kill everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like I just think that
that's the minimum in my opinion. What that
is it 200 crazy?
It does. I was looking. It does like 70% damage of Suck Circle. And
yeah,
it's
I saw you test it with Armin or whatever.
And it's an iframe class.
Does it have
Yeah.
a CC?
It's stun. It's double stuns.
I think you get out of the CCs before the last hit though, right?
Yeah.
I think that was what you tested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got other CC as the last hit lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
The 100 is pretty good too.
And if you had shy
100
buffs,
is
though,
actually really good.
if you had shy buffs, you'd hit the whole thing. Though.
100
Yeah.
looks so fucking cool.
That's so
does.
sick.
So
It's
yeah,
but yeah, really for me it's like
Real big AoE.
I hope that at the end of the day, like when it does come live and people are actually able to like really kind of figure out the style of it, I hope it kind of fits into like into a niche
Yeah.
and kind of can be playable in other things than just Solare, because I do think it will be pretty good in Solare to a certain extent, right? So
yeah. I
that's
mean,
kinda
if
my
it has
thoughts on it.
damage, it'll be good in Solare.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
because it doesn't down smash and shit too
So-
often. So
final question, based off the little bit we know, are you a Woosa or a Maegu?
Maegu all day.
Why?
Woosa.
Why?
Bro, come on,
Why
you
Maegu?
seen Maegu, bro? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Look at that thing. That clip.
Oh, yeah.
If it, I mean, it's obviously not going to play identical to mobile.
Yeah.
But my lord, that movement, the kiting, the little Gatorooski.
Little rat runaway class.
Yeah, it looks
Does
like
Range
just
class.
it looks like an absolute nuisance to deal with. and
Yeah,
that
it
sounds
runs
like a
away and
fucking-
shoot. You
Because,
literally
like,
Oh,
You think about it, like I play Nova, like I run in, I do 2 skills, and I run away, and like that is it's so ratty to watch somebody run in, even if you don't die to them. Like it's so ratty to watch somebody run in and then just like run away fast you can keep up, and you're like watch them run away. It's so fucking annoying. So I love that kind of style. So at least right now, maybe that changes
Yeah.
in the future, but
All right.
currently Maegu main for 10 years now.
I always love like kind of like set up like high payoff type things as well.
Yeah.
Like for example, like that's why I like Sage, because it's like if I get the right opportunity, I get the fucking my moment type of thing. Oh my god, the everyone's
This is my
gone.
moment.
Yeah, like when you get your moment and you just and everything the stars align, you just destroy everyone.
So
That's like my favorite thing when I'm talking about like when I'm trying to go for like big damage classes.
Strat,
Yeah.
where can people find you? Your Twitch, your YouTube.
Twitch.tv/Statisfied, YouTube, the same exact thing. Nova gameplay, probably for the foreseeable future, unless Woosa ends up being an absolute blast when I played on Seasons on the release. So
Okay.
yeah, so you can check me out.
All right. When do you usually
Appreciate you
stream?
having me on. Schedule's a little sporadic right now, but I try to stream around 4:30 to 5 every other day or so.
Cool, man. Appreciate you coming
Thanks for
on.
having me, guys. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for joining.
bye, Strat.
Later,
you.
man.
Peace.
All right, so they announced on Monday after we all got back. I think it was Monday, but they announced on Monday essentially that the classes during a dev commentary that they released that the Woosa's awakening weapon is going to be the Maegu's charm, and the Maegu's awakening weapon is going to be the Woosa's fan. And then they added after that their personalities are polar opposite and their playstyles are going to be different, and it's not going to feel the same. So I think they were in a TLDR kind of saying they're not copy pasting the skills.
Yeah, well they talked about that in the dev commentary at the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't specify awakening weapon at that time, but they were saying they're like, yeah, we kind of wanted them to have like the same weapon, but just like one would be more magical based and the other one more physical based.
Right.
So it'd be like one is like obviously like the Woosa like summons like storms or whatever, and then maybe the Maegu is gonna be like slicing them and stuff with it. It's gonna be like
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like, let's say if the Woosa gets this charm, it's not going to be throwing these leaves? You think it's just going to still be doing kind of like Woosa things?
I think it's gonna be more summoning stuff. Yeah.
Is that what you feel, Vert?
I'm
Or
imagining
what is-
Woosa.
Yeah.
I'm
100%.
watching Woosa. Maegu's gonna be more either like. This is impossible.
Is
These
that
classes.
Woosa Wagyu?
Yeah, it's impossible. These class names, man. I think it's gonna be like one's gonna be just melee, and the other one will be magic, and it's just gonna be more like one's more caster based, and the other one's gonna. But they're gonna have like there's gonna be some similarities, obviously, but I don't think it's
Right.
gonna be much.
Vert, your feeling on the, I don't know, you just kind of what we know about Maegu, the little that we know, and also what are you hoping for, I guess, for Woosa's awakening, like style wise?
I mean, I'm pretty much on the same page as Divios. I was talking about it earlier. Like when I saw that she was magic damage, mostly caster, I was like, yeah, okay, so this is gonna be caster, and then Maegu gonna play more like an assassin kind of is what I'm expecting.
You think the Megu's gonna be ranged or
I think
melee?
it's gonna be I think it's gonna be mixed.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be mid range that does melee damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys think Maegu on mobile is evasion? Apparently. Do you think Megu's gonna be evasion NA or on PC?
It probably would be then because they've been Wusa's DR. So I thought they would be opposite, but hey, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Everyone kind of thought the Woosa was going to be evasion based off the little bit that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not evasion. All right, let's talk about the absorb real quick. 20-second cooldown. It lasts for 4 seconds. You have super armor during it. It's a 4-second PA, during which you receive, while you're receiving damage, all of the HP that you lose during that 4 seconds is built up into a charge that is released on the use of a prime skill, and it is just straight up true damage. It is unaffected by defensive stats. There's no PvP damage reduction on it. It just flatly does exactly as much as you took to somebody, not somebody, whoever you hit. Could be a big AoE, could use it in a range skill. So
Yep.
Divios, you don't think this is that crazy. Vert, what is your take on it? Because I've not heard your opinion on that ability yet.
I don't know. I think the true damage is a little too crazy, and I think it could be like a 30 to 40-second cooldown, and then just slap like a little PvP reduction on it. Because
To me, the cooldown is the crazy thing because it's
yeah,
to me it's a 16-second cooldown PA that also has an extra effect that sometimes will do
Yeah.
stuff. Like to me, it's like every 16
that's way too
seconds
low.
they're gonna have a PA, and then not only that, but like it's like if you play in badly that PA, you can get punished.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're gonna see that many. I think every now and again there's gonna be some hilarious clip where this Woosa lives with literally 1 HP and just one shots everyone in front of her. But I think that's gonna be very not common. I think often it'll do like extra like 2K or something, and it should be like, yeah, it's a nice little chunk.
But an extra 2K, depending on what you hit with. Like I don't know if you like full gear hit anyone with like Shift F or Shift E, but like, dude, that shit chunks. Like that without the absorb, without any absorb. And like now I'm imagining like a full elixir rotation or like, you know, just normal gear. Like I go out there with 316 triple accuracy accessories and I'm like buffed up, I E-buff, I absorb even just half my health. That's the thing that I think is like, you're saying you think it'll be really hard to survive, but I think if you E-buff, you have that extra health and you just iframe out once you get to about half health, I mean, you're basically going to be able to hit with something and then also do an additional 4,000 damage, undefensible, against someone. I think especially like evasion players that are used to like just some misses, just none of it being missed is going to really hate that happening, especially every 20 seconds potentially.
I just don't think like you have to take so much damage. Like I don't know, like
But you don't though, because you already deal damage, and it's also how much you can whale pot through it and everything, so you still have like extra HP to work
I'm not talking about you dying though. I'm talking about like physically taking that damage. It doesn't happen unless you're like fighting like 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. Like it's like
Yeah,
and
I
like
mean, I don't know. I usually it's just one ranger and I take that damage.
not through PA.
You don't think like let's say if I jump in and I see like a Zerker, let's say I'm fighting Cho Nation, and we go PA and 1, 2, 3 go. We dive the ball and I jump in the middle of like a dense group that I could find. I PA and just get ready to iframe and whale pot. You don't think I'd take damage?
I think you just die.
I mean, you might just die.
To be honest,
you might just die.
I think
but
you just fall over.
But you're able to stack a lot of HP and PA.
I just don't see the situation where you live and are able to still get, because you have to remember at that point you're getting hit by every debuff in the game from everyone. Your game is now frozen because there's 1,000 rangers hitting you at once.
So
your
you
game is not connecting to the internet.
You don't think if there's 3 geared people? I literally just snowed war against Joe like 2 weeks ago. You don't think if there's 3 geared people that you'll take enough damage for it to matter?
No, I think it'll matter. I just don't think it's as crazy as people think. Because
I-
like,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
like a. It's got to be like a perfect situation for it to act
I
as
think,
everyone
and
is
I also
making a
think
scene.
like, I also think if
in
you're
my
playing on a
opinion.
Varn step, you're gonna hit 2 people, and that's it. So, which is like every war we've done in the last like 6 months. So.
Yeah,
You're gonna
maybe.
you're gonna get
the
that
cooldown
absorb.
needs to
You're gonna
be
get that
raised.
absorb, and then you're gonna pop. You're gonna range shoot like bound to that ranger, and you'll kill the ranger, and that's it.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot more clips than people think. Mostly because
I just think the 200 is
it's
gonna
also
go. I'm-
counting the damage like while you're healing through it, like whale pot.
The thing I feel crazy is I literally can just fly in, PA, get a bit of absorb, and then just 200% and the hits everyone with in giant AoE with that shit.
Yeah, I mean, also doesn't it release with the 100% as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, and the 100% is also like insane. Like, I mean,
big AoE too.
yeah, I was able to one shot a bunch of people with 100% without any absorb. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty crazy. And also just even if it had no absorb at all, like you had mentioned earlier, I do still think it's crazy to just have a self PA every 20 seconds.
I think the PA is the crazy thing. I think there's gonna be situations where the absorb is really good, but like from fighting on, I fought for like 6 hours. There's literally never a time where it did more than like 1,000 damage to me in the 6 hours I was fighting.
Yeah. Wait, starting with you, Vert, and then Divios. How do you feel about the rain mechanic in the clouds?
It's really cool.
I think it's cool. I feel the one thing I wish they would not do or get rid of is the like you CCs them and like a stun goes off. I think that is so corny. It's just Tamer Pet all over again. But I think outside of that, it's very cool. And adds a lot of opportunity for like zone control and playmaking. Did Frosty die? Did not like that answer?
I like the activating of it. But yeah, I think you did.
Okay, our podcast now. So, Divios,
Yo.
what do you think of the cloud mechanic?
I think it's really cool though. Like overall, I do.
Yeah.
I do agree with you too though.
Yeah, I don't know. Visually, it looks really cool. The damage
Oh, he's
seems.
back.
Yeah, sorry, I had to take care of something real quick.
Yeah.
The CC. I died of old age. The CCs. Do you think the CCs add any threat? Because obviously, like the first time everyone saw it, like you planting 3 clouds and then use the skill and they see it, all the rain across the board, like that's nuts. But like in practice, do you think it's nuts? Like, are you gonna actually be catching people with that?
Oh, I was catching people. That's like half the time I got catches on Global.
Yeah, I think you will absolutely.
Because I just like plant them around and then I kind of kite someone to where they're in it and I'm like range to them and I just fucking pop the shift Q and then they just get stunned and I go kill them.
Yeah, especially if you're like good about it in like large scale situations. Like I
I
see
just
a lot of plays being made.
like
off
and that's
those
like one of
spots.
those. That's like one of those things. I just love things like that where it's like you can kind of like mind game and do shit like that to like just to like fuck with people.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. And then in
Little traps on the
PvE,
ground.
I don't know. In PvE, weirdly, it feels like it does no damage. We were like figuring this thing out today. I was watching Jules stream, and when you use Shift R and B and hard cast the whole thing, it spawns a cloud, but you can't see it. So when you press Shift E or Shift F or one of the proc skills after, it'll actually start the rainstorm. But if you cancel early, it won't.
Well, it's because when you cancel early, it summons the cloud then.
Yeah, but here's the weird thing is when you cancel early, it still inherits the 50% crit that the skill has.
Yeah.
But if you leave it there and then proc it, it has 0 crit. Which is very odd. Interesting. It was like kind of confusing and weird.
bizarre.
I'm not sure if that's a bug. I'm not, because it doesn't say on that skill that it leaves a cloud at the end of an ability.
Mhm.
So, and also you can't see it. So it's like I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to work that way, but do you guys think the movement is busted, and if so, why?
It just doesn't cost enough stem. It costs infinite stem unless you're just straight spamming.
I mean, I think it's fine. I think in the scenario of like no pressure on you and you're just moving around in a town, you can make any class look fucking disgusting. Like I
Mhm.
could do that with Hash all day. But in like a real scenario, when you're being pressured, when you're getting hit, you get forced out of skills, like someone comes to grab you, you're not just gonna be able to like just linger shit and just stand there.
Well, I just
You're
know
gonna
like
burn more
I'm,
stam.
I'm just comparing to like the two classes I play. It
Yeah,
definitely
I just think
he
like
definitely uses way less stam than either my striker or my sage.
the only
Even-
skill that seems crazy to me is just the shift space, mostly because the cooldown is low enough that you get
The
to use
cooldown
it
is so low.
immediately. The
Yeah, 'cause
other
it's like
ones don't bother
anim-
me that much, just because the cooldown's long enough that if someone's legit pressuring you, like a Hash or a Ninja or even like a Tamer, like whatever, a Suck Nova with their random CCs, like they're either gonna force you into doing nothing or they're gonna catch you out of something when you're trying to do something back to them. But it's that
Mhm.
shift space that kind of just makes it a little bit too crazy.
Yeah, you can just run away forever.
Yeah, if you want to run like you can, kind of forever. But I'm a little bit with Vert. Is that I think in like the heat of an actual fight with someone, I mean, I guess you can just stop using abilities and stuff and just try to run forever. But I think
no,
the other
you
three
would-
movement skills really aren't that crazy, and you can get stammed out if those are the three you're spamming. It's just once you can throw
But
in
that's
shift
only
space.
if you're not. It's only if you're like not using any of your essays
Well,
though.
exactly though. Right. That's exactly the point.
I feel like it's
that's
no
what
different than like a DK.
I mean.
Like,
It's
if
literally
a DK
yeah.
plays well, he can kite for a very, very long time. And
Well,
not
I
get
also
punished.
think DK doesn't use enough
Right?
stam, so I guess that's fair.
Well, I mean, Awaken Kuno is the same. Like if I'm gonna throw in any ability in between, like I can move completely protected for forever,
Yeah.
and also a lot of it is iframe.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's like
same with Ninja. Like
I think
there's
it's
a
just
lot
the
of
shift
classes in the
space.
game can already do that.
I think it's just shift space is like the big issue. I mean, maybe it's something else, and I'll see it once it comes to live. And who knows if they add other movement with some of the other abilities they're gonna add. But the only one that really like I would nerf right away is probably just the cooldown to shift space. I mean, I think the simplest thing to do, at least to try, would be to make it where like the cooldown doesn't start until the animation's actually over.
Well, they can't do that in that game. In this, they've never done that in any skill. I don't think.
Is
So I
that
think they're
true?
just-
Is there
every
no
skill in
skill in the
every-
game that doesn't have that?
I can't think of a skill that. I think every skill is like as soon as you cast it, it starts.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, either that or just increase the cooldown. I mean, effectively, it just needs like a 5 or 10-second cooldown increase. 10 seconds. I was surprised just by like what it does that it was 10 seconds to begin with. Like before I even realized it has a linger that recovers stamina at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, this is 10 seconds? I thought there's no way. I mean, what's like the Dragonflight thing? It's like 30 seconds, 20 seconds. What's the extension? 15. I think it was
Yeah.
15 at the start. Yeah, so I don't know. I was just kind of surprised that it was so low.
Mhm.
But what about the damage? Not counting really the absorb. Does the damage seem like I know it's kind of hard to test on labs, but at least like PV. Did you PV at all, Divios? Did you kill
No,
mobs?
I didn't grind. I did not grind at all. No.
I see. What about the? I guess not the damage because kind of hard to tell, but the accuracy because it's like somewhere between 8
It's
and
pretty
15% on everything.
It's very
but,
mid accuracy.
but no
I
buffs.
think it's fine.
Yeah, it feels like if you have accuracy accessories, you'll be all right. It's just weird. Like, it's like the accuracy is. I don't think it needs an accuracy buff, but I could see why people say it when you look at like an Awakened Maewa that has like 10 to 20, some even 30%
Oh, yeah.
mods.
Don't you dare.
and
Don't you
and
dare.
a 15% accuracy buff
Don't
and
you
a 9%
dare.
evasion debuff and busted ass Frostflower KD that
So
had
it's like,
significant changes a while back.
I enjoyed the podcast. Thanks for having me.
And it's like
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
to me,
using it as an
it's-
easy example. Sork is another good one. Like Awakened Sork's accuracy is so high, or Sage or whatever. Like when you look at those classes, like
yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same accuracy as Awakened Striker. That's what its accuracy is. It's like 10% on a skill. Or 10 to. It's like 10% pretty much without, and then no passive.
yeah.
And
So I think it's fine. It's just
it has a bit higher on the big skills, but then it has
it's probably going to be a nightmare on live to kill geared mystics and strikers with it being magic and
no,
not
that's
having
gonna
innovation
do
debuff.
Oh yeah, not like that. Like I said, yeah, for my striker, it's not gonna do anything unless you're like full. You need reflect to kill me.
Yeah. Need reflect to kill. Yeah, I guess the reflect does ignore accuracy. I don't know. I can't imagine. Dude, I hope they don't day one nerf the PvE. Like, I hope we don't get the class tomorrow. Because, dude, both versions of Suck were like, this PvE doesn't feel that good. And then day one, it was even worse. And it's like, why? This actually feels okay. I actually grinded on it. And obviously, you're missing a bunch of stats because I don't have artifacts on labs and I don't have like a Pen Blackstar Awakening or anything. But it still felt pretty good PvE. So I am afraid it's going to get nerfed and it's going to be sad.
Hopefully not. They need to stop like pre-nerfing stuff based on global lab testing.
Yeah,
it's like the worst test server ever.
I think
XD.
I think the class is at a point where it's gonna be like but like I was thinking of the counter thing again. That is like.
Mhm.
Like, you know how you're saying how like getting like 2 or 3k damage is a lot? Yeah, do you know what does 2 or 3k damage?
Yeah.
Literally any of my buttons on Sage without any requirement.
Yeah, but none of us think that that's okay.
Or any ranger skill.
Like,
or
that's the
half
thing.
the wizard skill.
No, that is
or
like
any Zerker skill.
Yeah, it's like
or
the two I've been hearing a lot is like, dude, Ranger already does that. Who cares? And like Blizzard already does that on Suck Caster, and it's like, yeah, everyone cares. Everyone hates that. Why are we getting more of that?
But see, I think that's okay because there is the setup, you know. There's the requirement of
there's actually a requirement to it. There is no requirement to me pressing Shift Q on Sage. It's literally I run up, I press Shift Q. It has high accuracy. It has 100% crit, and you die if it hits you. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't have to do any step. I just press the button. You're dead.
Frosty, I'm about at my
all right, you at your limit. All right, let me ask you one last question.
What you got for me?
Were you guys surprised, or like, how is it crazy? This is kind of the first time we've gotten a class like literally one in December and one in January. Like, what's kind of your feeling on them releasing two classes like that?
I think it's gonna be really interesting over the just like as soon as that new class, as soon as the other one comes out. It's gonna be really interesting to see like how people are like the Fodom players are gonna try to figure out which of the 4 specs is best. And they're gonna be swapping all over the place.
Yeah. Vert, your feeling on the borderline simultaneous release. It's close enough.
I'm excited because I'm more excited for the second class, so I think it's pretty cool. But in terms of like, you know, I've seen them deal with like one succession at a time and just have it be a nightmare. So fingers crossed that the balancing team is on top of their game and actually react in an appropriate amount of time if there are stuff that's just out of control.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I'm
excited, but
I was
maybe
just gonna
nervous.
address console real quick. Do you guys have any thoughts on the console? So basically, console's getting C15, another Black Star, a personal Garmoth that they can fight weekly, I guess, and then they're also getting the new class and some optimization update. They're getting the Marnie Realm and the Loot Scroll change. But that's it. The console players there, Vert, what was your feeling from their response there? Did you talk to any of the console guys?
Oh yeah, they were down tremendous, and I basically like my TLDR for all console players is just come to PC. Like if you truly enjoy BDO, you're just it's not gonna change. Time to get a PC, come over.
The first thing they basically said is the best thing that could happen in this ball is if they added like a server transfer or something, or account transfer.
Yeah,
that'd be the best thing they could get for console at the ball. Is what they were telling me.
Yeah, dude, it was funny because I saw the console players behind me. There was a whole row of them, and they were all like halfway through the announcements. They were still doing the praise emoji IRL. And I was like, well, this is not looking good for the poor console people.
Yeah, well, like they like, all right, we're doing the console segment. I'm like, okay, and then they're just talking just some random shit. I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, the C15 thing to me is just so wild. It's not even like a place you stop. It's just so arbitrary.
I mean, before they've just done it by 5, right? They've just done 5, then 10, then 15 now.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just so I don't know why not just go to 20. I don't know. It's wild, dude. But yeah, they need some help, man. They need some support. Support your console brothers out there. They're struggling. They're really sad. They don't feel well. Maybe Kerr's gonna join them because he did win that PS5. Oh, can we also just talk about how randomly Pearl Abyss gave everyone $100?
That was sick.
I don't know why that blows my mind so much, but it just blows my fucking mind.
Just give them $100.
There were 300 people there, and they're like, "Here you go, everyone. Here's $100."
It was kind of funny, yeah. It was just here's $100 gift on top of all the whatever, like all the merch as well that came with it, right?
Yeah, dude, those headphones are like $250.
$100 is sick. I'm gonna go spend it on dinner. Okay, bye.
All right. Hey, where can people find you, Vert?
Twitch.tv/Vert. YouTube, just type like BDO Vert. If you type just Vert, you'll get some Fortnite Zoomer.
Good. So. December 28th, we can expect Awaken Hash gameplay on Solare.
Absolutely. Gonna be running it down, baby. Let's get it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining, man. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. Good to meet you again.
Yeah, you too, dude. That was cool.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
See you around, man.
See you.
And Divios, you started streaming. Last time you didn't have anything to promote, man. Where can people find you these days?
Just at twitch.tv/Divios. I normally stream Solare, but it's been a sad couple months. I've just been streaming like Node Wars and maybe like an hour grinding and riding a horse.
Tell them what you really stream. You really stream you leveling up your horse is what you stream.
Hey, I'm getting there though. I'm at 91, almost 13 million XP. I'm getting there. Almost 92.
Are you AFK leveling it?
No, I'm actively leveling it.
No, you're making less. You're making less than that guy that actively fishes in Vert's chat.
I actively leveled it, and then there's a 10-minute node war, and then I'm back to leveling it.
Yeah. Titsy, it was straight up Visa cards. They straight up gave everyone a $100 Visa card.
But it's a little Black Spirit Visa card.
Yeah, it was like custom made. Yeah,
it's a little Black Spirit in a gift.
Yeah.
Gift box.
And even the backpack is like high quality. The backpack was nice. The little thermos thing was nice. It was wild, man. I was blown away. But man, thank you so much for coming on. It was super cool seeing you in person again and actually being able to hang out this time.
Yeah, because it was actually crazy. Like at Twitch, I was saying like at TwitchCon, it's like it just like never. I saw you a couple times. I just could never actually like talk to you. It's like never really had like time.
Well, when you had that jersey on, you were kind of too cool for school, you know. Yeah. Yeah, Divios is definitely different when he's in a jersey. He's his bodyguards would like keep us away from him, and it was like, well, I just want to talk to him for a second, and then they'd be like, you need to leave. Like, all right, that's my bad. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for joining me for the podcast today. Vert, thank you so much for the host, and thanks to Strat as well for coming on. That'll do it for us. So thanks, man. I will talk to you soon, and enjoy. Are you gonna tag it, or you're still like you're gonna season it first?
I want to tag it, but it's kind of, I want to see, like, it sucks because I do want to kind of see what like those other skills are gonna be, because they could add a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like I just think like, I mean, Magnus skills, like they can, some of them are insane.
Yeah. I hope they don't wait too long for that shit, because the Drac ones were pretty quick. I mean, I think she got her bombs and C skills like either a week after or 2 weeks after. It was like relatively quick.
Oh, and they also, that is one thing too. They also did give the C skills way before the Awakening came out, didn't they?
Yes, they did on Drac. She was the first one. And for me, I keep thinking like, if Solare's on December 28th, like those skills better be out by then. Otherwise, it's gonna be so weird going in there with just a completely borked kit.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know. Anyway,
but I do want to tag it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks cool. It's not your style, man. You're an evasion.
I mean, I'm definitely wearing evasion on it.
Well, of course.
It has the offhand.
Do you have a second? Do you have a DR set or no?
No. That thing got an evasion offhand. That's all I need.
Is that it?
Yep.
There you go. If you run into Divios' Woosa, just throw on your accuracy offhand.
Yeah, and then I got 500 DR and a bunch of HP.
That's true.
Still good.
All right. Later, man.
Farewell.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining again. So here's the thing with the podcast. My plan is to do something regularly starting at the very beginning of January. So I'm going to try my best to do a weekly podcast every week in January. It doesn't have a title yet. This is just like a Calpheon Ball kind of special. But going forward, I know a lot of people want just something to listen to while you're grinding, whether it's good or bad, just something kind of help you kill time. So we're going to start that back up in January. I'm going to do my best to make sure that it's every single week. And we'll see if I can come up with some unique stuff for the format. So we'll have all sorts of topic ideas. And if you have any suggestions for things you want to see or want to hear about weekly, ! Discord, go in there. Let me know in one of the channels or DM me is fine too. If you have any ideas or something you kind of want to see, we call it the Icebox. Okay, Icebox. Anyway, thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate all of you. I will, for those of you listening to this recorded on YouTube, I will see you next time.